I should be live. I should be alive and kicking. I believe I am. At least the alive part. I am live in the flesh, in the fur. And I'm a Karibo, baby. You know me. Do da la 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 and all that. I'm just posting that I'm live. Give me a sec while I do this. Hey, hey.
I'm a grand prick.
We are all grand pricks. Today, we are all of us grand pricks. And be proud of that. Like the grand prick that you are. What's up, guys? Good to have you here. Hello there, fellow Karibos. My name's Karibo. Shame about the lack of dragon-shaped plane. Yeah, no, it is kind of a huge disappointment. I feel like if I were to start a stream, I would want all of my stream viewers to be able to enjoy the stream in the comfort of the the first-class section of a Blue Eyes White Dragon jumbo jet. Is there a jumbo jet? No, it's just a regular jet, isn't it? Good to have you all here. Hello. I hope you guys have been able to check out the new episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged that I just posted today. It's pretty hype. There could have been more dragon appearances overall. It is a shame that there aren't more dragons generally. In fact, when Yami Yugi in the episode says, "This dragon is from the season 1 intro and you can see me riding it," like, I wish he did that. I wish all of the characters were always riding dragons. But thank you for stopping by today. This is the time when I would usually, and I want to acknowledge I have missed a couple of streams where I would have liked to have done 20th anniversary celebrations, etc. You know me. I've been doing, for the last month or so, streams where I watch the old episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. And Noah Hasten CO8589, thank you so much for the super chat there. You know me, I've been doing various streams where I've watched episodes 1 through 26 or 7. That doesn't count as the meme. I said 26. Are we watching old eps today or the new one? I would like to watch both. I would like to watch the new one and some old episodes. Having said that, I'm feeling a bit... I've been working really hard on the video and on various other things, so I just want to acknowledge that I might not have the energy to watch the new episode and some old episodes, but that is what I'd like to do. At the very least, I would like to watch and talk about episode 89, entitled Yami Supreme, because it's fresh in my mind, and it just came out today, and I feel like it's very rare. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it's very rare that I get to talk about these episodes immediately, you know? Super Stitch, it would have been funny to have to see a bit of Bakura finally asking, "Is the filler arc over yet?" And the narrator would say, "Yes, it's over." Yeah, I definitely considered doing something like that. Honestly, after doing these anniversary streams, I thought it would be funny to have a callback to that old end bumper where it's like, "His time draws near," whatever it was, where it just has the image of Bakura and it's like, "Fear his coming," or whatever. Just so unnecessarily dramatic, like something like that, but then be like, "Yeah, he's finally here." A funny version of that. I didn't put much thought into it, but I did want to do something with Bakura. It would have been funny. It just was, you'll have to forgive me, it was just one extra thing that I didn't quite have the patience to add to an already rather long video. But no, I'm pretty proud of the video. I'm pretty proud of the episode. I'm not going to immediately jump into it. We're going to sit here chatting for a bit because mostly I want to give people a chance to watch it if they haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I want to wait like 20 minutes or so because that's how long the episode takes to watch. It's about a 20-minute long episode. So I'm going to give you guys time if you haven't seen it, because this is not the first time that I don't want you guys to watch the episode this way the first time you see it. If that's your choice, you know, I can't really tell you not to do it, but I don't think watching it with my commentary is an ideal way to check it out. You should watch it first and then come back and watch me streaming and talking about it and the process, the process, and all the editing quirks that came up, and explaining where some of the jokes are coming from. All right, there's so many super chats. You'll have to forgive me. Let me quickly read some of these super chats since we're getting started here. I appreciate you guys' enthusiasm. I'm very excited. Ninja Warlord, you were right. The Powerpuff Girls joke didn't land in the previous episode. You're absolutely right. I do agree with you. I think that Powerpuff Girls joke was really lazy of me. I couldn't think of anything else, and I just threw it in there. And then I got the opportunity to call myself out for it after a few episodes. To be like, yeah, that wasn't very good. You're absolutely right. Ninja Warlord. I feel like if you can't trust a Ninja Warlord's take on comedy, you can't trust anybody's. Sirius Galilee, I'd like to see you do a creator commentary like Team 4-Star did after they did DBZA for your show. I'm kind of doing that with the 20th anniversary streams. I don't think I'm nearly as insightful or as entertaining as those guys are to listen to, but I am having a good time rewatching the old content and having a chuckle. Right, let me read some of these super chats. Andrew Brown, thank you. Bakura is finally getting his screen time. Yes, next episode, it starts happening. Finally. I finally actually start doing things. It's going to be so weird. It's going to be bloody strange to actually be involved directly in the plot and be not just involved, but the driving force behind it. Very strange. Jeremy in the chat. Greetings, Grand Pricks Karibo Overlord. I have only one question. What was Leon saying in his first line about Super Mario? He was saying I could be making so many Super Mario 64 jokes. My understanding is Vion Seksik is 64, but I could be wrong. We Googled it and we checked out the pronunciation. So yeah, I've already given you a little bit of insight there. Anthony Redgrave, thank you for the super chat. You're very appreciated. Thanks for making an abridged series that has been both entertaining and has helped me through some tough times. Well, I hope those tough times loosen up a bit. I hope that they go easy on you. But I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to help you through them, even indirectly. I always say this. I'm always like, I'm so glad that I got to help you indirectly. Because I don't want people to think that I'm like, yes, I am helping everyone. I don't think about it that way. It helps me to work on the show and to get, to sort of be able to express my comedy chops, so to speak. I do love making people laugh. So Anthony, thank you for laughing more than anything. I did directly make you do that. But I'm always hesitant to take a credit for any kind of help that I've given people through this. But I should be less hesitant. I do appreciate that it's a two-way street and that everything I feel that's positive about this, I'm sure that you guys have felt at some point. So let's give ourselves a pat on the back for feeling good during really bad times. Somehow being able to do that. Riley DeLong, thank you for the super chat. Where does the la 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 for Karibo come from? That comes from, as many of my references do, Perfect Hair Forever. From Adult Swim specifically, but from this specific one comes from Perfect Hair Forever, which was an Adult Swim anime parody that aired as an April Fool's joke one time and continued having episodes, which I really enjoyed, but apparently it's very contentious. There's a lot of anime fans that are like, that's lazy. That's a lazy parody. That's the way people who don't watch anime make fun of anime. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still funny. I understand it's not cutting edge humor. It's not super incisive, but it's stupid and I like it. These are jokes that so many people have made about anime, but they're done in a weird Adult Swim April Foolsy kind of way, and I liked it. But I feel like I'm one of the only I say anime fans. I don't even know if I consider myself an anime fan. I haven't watched nearly enough anime to do it. But I'm one of the only people who enjoys anime and can still laugh at stuff like that, I think. Serious, will I be doing stream commentary on the Bonds Beyond Time abridged movie with Jaden and Yusei? I would like to. Yeah, no, I'd like to get to it. Same with the original abridged movie. And somebody's in the chat asking, was the dramatic... We'll talk about some of the jokes and what they're references to when I'm watching the video. But rest assured, your questions will be answered Elisa, thank you for the super chat. Hi, LK. I'm sorry if what I said on Discord made you uncomfortable or stressed. I won't tag you again. You didn't make me uncomfortable or stressed. It just was not... It's in the rules on my Discord not to do that. That's the really only reason that I was taking issue with it. Also, you addressed me in a very casual way, and I don't know you. That was the other part. But I appreciate you understanding. I'm reading some more of these things. You'll have to forgive me as it's not a complicated name, but it's not a name I'm familiar with. Del Didum. Thank you for the super chat. Just want to say that your German pronunciation was pretty spot on. Respect, dude. Did I speak German in the episode? I don't remember. It might have been Leon who was doing a good job with the pronunciation, and that's not me. That's my partner Marin, who you might notice was credited as Juicy Flanagan in the episode, and we could talk about that as we continue watching the video later in the stream here. But yes, thank you. I never try very hard to pronounce things correctly just because I think sometimes bad pronunciation is funny. But Siegfried's a fun character. I really enjoyed voicing him. I'm actually sad that Siegfried's gone now. He's not my favorite character in the actual show, but I really enjoyed him while he was here in the abridged version. I didn't know what kind of an impression he would make on people, but people seemed to really enjoy him. He wasn't a very one-note character like I was afraid of him being. N7 Spongy, are you a big Star Wars Legends fan? You mean like of the old stuff? The old canon? The old expanded universe? Or something else? I like all of it. I like Star Wars, period. There's parts of Star Wars I don't like, but for the most part, I'm like, yay, Star Wars. I love the Heir to the Empire trilogy back in the day. Is the plan to end Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged on episode 100? There's no plan for a specific number. I don't think I'll be able to end it on episode 100, even though it's very tempting to try. Because we're close to triple digits. You know, we're getting there. We're like 10 episodes away. Pink Pegasus. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Glenn, thank you for the super chat. I'm here to defend Waterpon. Hey, Waterpon's great. As you can see in the episode, we take him very seriously. Demon! I really appreciate that. Shout out to Demon Cross in the chat. Love the new episode. I know it was supposed to be a filler arc, but honestly, I think it's some of your finest work yet. I tried very hard to make sure that it wasn't just a throwaway, annoying sort of like, let's get through this and pretend it never happened kind of arc. I wanted it to stand on its own. I got a lot of satisfaction out of doing Season 4, and I remember thinking while making Season 4 that there was a part of me that was tempted to skip it, and I would have really regretted skipping it. And the same could be said of the Grand Championship, the Grand Prix. It was something I was definitely considering. Oh, I don't have to do this. I could just skip it. But there was so much comic potential, and I think I really tried to explore that as best I could. And I'm glad I did it. I think it really turned out okay. It turned out pretty good. I'm certainly proud of... there's like 2 or 3 episodes that I think stand alongside any of my best stuff in the show. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, Demon. Thank you. But yes, Glenn, Waterpon, the most powerful card in all of Duel Monsters, as we know. RN Jesus, thank you for stopping by, our Lord and Savior. Thank you for the super chat, the holy chat, I suppose, coming from you. Me and my sister got hit like a sleeper agent as during a sing-along to Bad Romance, we both sang the lyric, "Why am I speaking French?" It's funny, I was at a convention one time, and I'm not going to go on too many long tangents if I can help it, but I was at a convention one time, and there was an opening ceremony skit that these cosplayers did where they were singing a parody of Bad Romance. And they got to that bit and they started singing, "Why am I singing French? I don't want to be French." And I was like, and I personally in my head was like, did they get that from me? And then I turned and I saw Kaiser Neko on the other end of the aisle in the panel room looking at me. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's not just me thinking that. But yeah, no, that does get in my head as well. I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot of my parody lyrics, but there are parts of it that really do get stuck like an earworm for me as well. You'll have to forgive me if I don't get around to reading your comments in the chat, but it's great to see Dark Cloud VA2 in the chat. Love you, Dark Cloud. Thank you for stopping by. And Lady Logan, my lady. Wonderful to see you. I'm going to try and make sure I give a shout out to you when I see you.
Give me those friggin' pants.
Rally Ruiz. Rally, thank you for the super chat. Just wanted to say thanks for many laughs and introducing me to Insanity of Yu-Gi-Oh! Love from Finland. Oh, I love Finland. I got to visit there once, very briefly. I got to go to Anime Con, and that was one of my favorite... That might be my favorite convention experience ever. The Finnish fans were wonderful. I got to see this great Yami Marek cosplayer that was not just cosplaying Yami Marek, but was cosplaying the young Yami Marek when he was a like a young kid Marek, and he just murdered his dad with the Millennium Rod. So it was very cool. Thank you, Finland, and thank you, Rally Ruiz. I appreciate that. Christopher Allardyce or Allardice, thank you for the super chat. Give Zork his laugh track. I do want to bring the laugh track back. It's an old joke, but I think people would miss it if he didn't have like a sitcom vibe. A little bit. Geki Kudo, thank you for the super chat. Work was pretty poopy bad today, and the episode had me laughing a lot. Oh, good. I'm glad we could turn that poopy bad day into a poopy good day. Hopefully. Rubberman202, thank you for the super chat. It's been a long time since I've watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, but these streams have got me back into it. I'm rewatching the whole series before jumping into the episodes I've missed, including the new one. Rubberman, I wish you well on your journey. Just as a heads up, we are going to be watching episode 89, the newest one that I just dropped today on this stream. So if you don't want to watch it yet, you might want to close your eyes and ears and various other apparatus. Hussein, thank you for the super chat. Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge helped me when I was at a low point 10 years ago. Well, I hope you're doing better. I sincerely hope you're doing way better. And I want you to know that I appreciate you being here now, and I'm very glad that I was able to give you a bit of a boost when you needed it. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Liberty Prime, an honor to see you in the chat, Liberty Prime, from one of my favorite games. The Mark Remark was genuinely some of the funniest shit of all time. I watch it back constantly. Just wanted to say that. I would love to bring back the Mark Remark in some shape or form. People are always saying, would you do more based on WWE now? And I'm hesitant just because, as I've talked about, I don't like a lot of the things that they're associating with, and, if I were to bring it back, I would probably go with AEW or some non-WWE wrestling, or maybe some old-school wrestling from WWE that, people just wouldn't necessarily tune in to watch these days. But yeah, no, I do have that itch. I do have that itch to bring the Mark Remark back. I had a great time making that. I love wrestling. I'll always love wrestling. It's weird. I'm not a sports guy, but I am a sports entertainment guy. Upside Cloud. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I missed. Moon Rithel. Thank you for the follow. You've figured out a way to have infinite joke material. Make a bad joke in one episode, then make fun of it in the next episode. Yes. It's a Mobius strip of self-aggrandizing comedy. Upside Cloud. Thank you for the super chat. We love you so much. You revolutionized how people watch anime. Is that what I did? I don't know if I did that. But I appreciate the compliment, and thank you. I hope that I've mostly revolutionized how people make fun of anime. Watching anime, I don't know if it's the ideal way to watch it. You should watch the original. I highly recommend, if you like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, you should check out Yu-Gi-Oh! You should maybe read the manga. The manga is sublime. Kazuki Takahashi is one of the greatest creators ever, in my opinion. And obviously, we want to take a moment to say rest in peace, Kazuki Takahashi, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! I would not be here doing this if it weren't for him. Many of us would not be here talking to one another and sharing these memories if it weren't for him. He created a bond that goes far beyond his own existence, and it's a tragedy that we've lost him, but it's a wonderful thing that we ever had him. The manga is great. You should check it out. Makimaru, thank you for the super chat. Just finished watching. How do the jokes keep getting funnier? Oh, you're very kind. New favorite episode for sure. I'm very proud of it. I think it's a strong episode script-wise from start to finish. I've probably talked about this before, but I'm always confused when I'm making the videos. I will write a script and then I'll start working on the recording and the editing, and at some point pretty early on in that process, I will not be able to tell if the video is actually good. And until I get to, like, the final edits, I'm not sure what quality it is. But when I got toward the end of this one, I was like, oh, this is good. So I felt pretty happy with this one. There's a couple of jokes that I just couldn't not chuckle at every single time. I don't know how... this is kind of a spoiler if you haven't seen it yet. I'm hoping you have. But there's the bit where Kaiba is like, oh, so about that Exodia victory you have over me. The bit where Kaiba points at Yami and Yami points back at, nope, nope, nope. That part gets me every time, even when I'm editing it. Thank you for that, Makimaru. And Lady Stardust, thank you for the super chat. Do love me some Minge, though, had me in pieces. I didn't know how it was going to play when I wrote it. When I was like, do love me some Minge, though. I was very grateful that my partner, Marin, was able to jump in and do those lines. I didn't know if I was going to do them or if somebody else was going to do them, but I think that their delivery of it is perfect. Hey, Michael Linden, good to see you in the chat. Am I winning, son, Mr. Thor? I don't know about that. I'm a Karibo. When have you ever seen a Karibo win, right? Saint Sentry, thank you for the super chat. The episode was well worth the wait, and here's to the final season. Also, will there be more Zyuranger videos soon? Those were cool. I'd love to do more Zyuranger stuff. I'd love to do more Super Karibo time. But if I'm being honest, it was a big time sink for very little reward. When I say reward, I mean there wasn't much video retention. There wasn't much in the way of, you know... I was hoping that it would be a nice little boost because we were struggling with money and I wanted to do something that would potentially be a long-term, you know, influx of money. And that's not to say that the only reason I was doing it was for money. I was very keen to do it and I wanted to do more of it, but it was just a lot of time for not much payoff, so it'll have to be something that I do when Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is done, I think. Andrew Brown, thank you for the super chat. What would Marek do if he was put in charge of Duel Academy?
Everyone's uniforms get cut off at the stomach. Everyone has their midriffs showing. Even Chumley. Chumley's midriff. It's more of a big riff. There's nothing mid about that riff. Everyone must look sexy.
Nicholas Michael, thank you for the super chat. You're very kind. And Lucas Hilsgen, thank you as well. You guys didn't write any messages, but thank you for the super chats. I'm going to get through these as quickly as I can, and then in like 10-15 minutes, we're going to sit and watch the actual episode and chat about it. Luminia, thank you for the super chat. In my college freshman year. In my college freshman year, I was binging Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge while packing for summer. I'm still watching 9 years later. I'm graduating tomorrow. Thank you for helping me survive. Gosh. Well done, I have to say, first of all, for getting through all that. And I'm very proud of you for graduating. And thank you for sharing your experience, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. And I'm glad you survived, and I hope you don't just survive from here on. I hope you thrive, Luminia. Hang on, sorry. Jster X999, thank you for the super chat. Congrats on 20 years, LK. When new episodes drop, I pop a fat gummy and watch the last episode while I wait for it to kick in. Thanks for all the laughs. Thank you for laughing, and I appreciate that you that you experienced the show that way. You'll have to forgive me one sec. I'm just checking something real quick. One second, sorry. That is weird. Anyway. Sorry about that. I had to check something really quickly. J-Stir-X999. Oh, I've already read this one, sorry. The Anti-War Doctor, thank you for the super chat. Hey Martin, I've turned 30 today. You, Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged, and We're Still Here are a big reason that I'm still here. Thank you for everything. To me, you are a hero. Thank you, Anti-War Doctor. I'm gonna read a... There's been a few of these, I do apologize. Okay. There's so many. All right. Tales from the S-Bahn. Thank you for the super chat. Longtime fan. I really adored the new episode. I really appreciate that. Okay, sorry about that. WC Wit, thank you for the super chat. Been rereading the manga because these streams have reminded me how much I love Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's been a blast. Wrapped up the Monster World arc earlier. Yeah, I love those early manga chapters. They're so good. Even before the actual card game gets introduced, I think it's a very, very cool and dynamic little story that shows a side of the characters that you don't really get in all the tournaments quite so much. It's almost like they're in a horror movie at times, which, you know, it puts them in a very interesting light. It makes you see them in a different light a little bit, but no, Kazuki Takahashi, that early stuff is wonderful. Even if, you know, I make jokes about the artwork in some of my videos, like there was that manga review I did where I talked about their big hands, and you know, there's still a charm to that. I don't mean to be, you know, disparaging when I say stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, if I'm making a joke about something, it's because I love that thing. But yeah, no, the manga's great. If you have not read it yet, I know I'm a bit of a stuck record about this, but yeah, the manga is so good. If you think you've experienced Yu-Gi-Oh!, you haven't until you've read that manga. Dual Yusei, thank you for the super chat. Will you do the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX review? That is my plan. Absolutely. I do want to do that. Mystic Minds Analysis Tavern, thank you for the super chat. And I love this message. Shout out to all my trans and non-binary friends in the UK today. Wherever there are card games, there is a safe place for you. Hashtag butts for all. I love everything about that message. And I hope that all of our trans and non-binary friends in the UK are safe and are feeling all right. And I want you to know that we love you and you are valid. And obviously, as always, trans rights are human rights. Joshua, thank you for the super chat. Now, LK, I should point out this stream is not going to take place on a motorcycle. I hope you understand that. Damn it! I brought out my Karibo motorcycle helmet and everything. It's basically as big as my head. It's basically as big as me. I am 90% head. Like a badly poured beer. Thank you, Jacob. I do appreciate that. And thank you for all the positive comments about the video. A lot of folks in the chat that aren't, you know, I don't want to ignore the folks that aren't giving super chats, but thank you to everybody for all of the compliments. It's really cool to see you guys' enthusiasm and to know that you guys are still having a good time watching. My partner's taking off to go to therapy in their good shit shirt. You got a shirt that says good shit on it and a giant cartoon turd on it. I just want everyone to know this. That's where my partner Marin is going.
We're getting good shit done.
And what we're doing. People liked your German pronunciation in the video, by the way.
Oh, Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
Right into the microphone.
Should I chew on it?
No. Al, thank you for the super chat. Just wanted to say you're the best. Oh gosh. Also really enjoyed Marin's voice work on the latest episode. Oh, they just walked out the door. They could have heard one. They could have heard a super chat that was aimed at them. But yes, I agree. Marin's voice work, tremendous. It's funny, I asked Marin how they wanted to be credited in the video, and they asked how they were credited before, and before they were credited as Juicy Flanagan, which is, if you haven't figured it out by now, it's a pseudonym for voice actors who don't want to be credited and have their name listed as alongside this project on their IMDb's, etc. But they were like, yeah, if you credited me as Juicy Flanagan, just credit me as Juicy Flanagan. And I was confused because they've talked openly about voicing the character. But they've told me I can absolutely talk about them voicing the character today. So there's no confusion there, at least. At least not a lot of confusion. Croissant lover forever. Thank you for the super chat. I hope you're enjoying a croissant right now. Nicholas Michael, I can't wait to see you continue GX and get to see how they totally made Grandpa like abridged Grandpa. Thank you for 2 decades of fun. Yes, it's in that arc where they go to Domino City, right? In Season 2, the Society of Light stuff. And Grandpa shows up, and everybody thought... There were a lot of people watching that thought that them going to Domino City meant that they were going to meet Yugi, but no, they saved that. They saved Yugi until, obviously, the big finale, 2-parter. That's my hope, Blur's Light. I would really like to release episode 90 in the next few months. It's not going to be a long one. And just so you know, I know I'm still reading these super chats, but I want to acknowledge my goal is to get episode 90 out before the end of the year, because it's only one episode. It's only one. It's the episode where Grandpa says, "Oh, back in the day, I was young and handsome, and I went to I went to the tomb and I met the pharaoh, and I don't talk about that until now." But yes, I'm hoping that won't be as much of a task as a bunch of these tournament episodes are. Yeah, in the chat, Ronald Poe points out that Vivzy Pop is, or was, I don't know if she still is, a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, so I am hoping that she finds the reference to her and you know, the memes related to her in good humor. I hope that she takes it as the compliment that I mean it to be. Saluk, thank you for the super chat. Been watching since the beginning. Crazy, it's been 20 years. I really appreciate that you've always given so much into making this series when you really don't owe it to any of us. Thank you. I feel like I do owe it a bit, because you guys have been so supportive. I don't just mean, you know, by watching the videos, but there's been a great amount of you guys giving back when I've needed help. I don't want to gloss over it, but earlier this year, right when I was making this current episode that just came out, I honestly thought we were going to lose our house. And thanks to you guys, we didn't. And that's no small thing. So when people say, oh, you don't even owe us anything, I feel like I owe you the world, honestly. I feel like I owe you my world, at least. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. But I really do feel... not obligated, but I feel compelled to try and make sure I finish this darn series, you know? Zalno, thank you for the super chat. Apologies, it's a bit off topic, but what are your thoughts on the new tokusatsu coming out like Omega Horn and Kamen Rider Maizu? It is a bit off topic, but really quickly, Omega Horn I've actually been really enjoying. If you don't know, guys, there's a new tokusatsu Japanese series where it's basically Pokemon, but with kaiju instead of little cute monsters. And the hero looks like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. He has the red cap, he has the red outfit, he turns the cap backwards, he has these little capsules that he puts the monsters in, and his number one monster is basically Yami Yugi as a kaiju, and he can turn into a human being, and they both kind of butt heads a little bit. So it's like watching a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon crossover. Yes, Mr. Nuggets, I'm talking about Omega Horn for a second. It's called, what's it called? What's the full title? Kakusei Hunter Omega Horn. It's real good so far. Omega Horn. If you have access to it, and you might not be able to find it by any legal means, but you should check it out. And as for Maizu, everything looks great coming from that. Everything that I've seen about the new Kamen Rider looks fantastic. B-Man the Champ, thank you for the super chat. Off topic, but touching on my previous super chat a few streams ago, my favorite line of yours as Frieza is, "Oh no, don't mind me. By all means, give me some ideas." Yeah, people like that. I've always been surprised by how much people enjoy that line. I don't think I sound intimidating, but that's because I'm me, you know? Drink water. I will do this. Thank you, S-Rocket. I swear, I'm gonna cut off the super chats. I'm not gonna cut them off, period, but I'm gonna cut off reading the super chats in about 5 minutes and we can watch the video. Raven8, thank you for the super chat. I don't like Yu-Gi-Oh, but love your work. Aw, well, thank you. I understand Yu-Gi-Oh isn't for everybody, but I hope that I've been able to make you laugh. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do so. Harry T, thank you for the super chat. Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge has permanently altered my vocabulary. Darts once said interesting, and that's the only way I can say interesting now. Yeah, Taka would often ad-lib as darts in really fun ways. And yeah, it was always a very exciting process hearing his lines, because I didn't know what he was going to do sometimes. Interesting. B-Man the Champ, thank you for the super chat again. Also, I've done your cover of Poker Face Brooklyn Rage a few times at karaoke. Very nice. Brooklyn Rage, Brooklyn Rage, yeah. Damn, it's RJ, thank you for the super chat. Beyblade mentioned, by the way, Beyblade X is really fun. I've never seen a Beyblade. I say that, I've actually seen a couple of episodes of the original Beyblade show, you know. But I don't think that counts as watching Beyblade. All I know is they spin around real fast, and Kamen Rider Meteor has one. And now Kamen Rider Nox has Bay Wheels. That's all I know. Mrs. Games... Oh, sorry. King Caboose 2003. Love the name. I wish I was the king of Caboose. 3 episodes in 6 months, you spoilers, man. At this rate, you might reach the end before the decade is out. That would be nice. I would like very much to get to the end of the series. Toot sweet. Mrs. Gamezilla, thank you. Asking chat if anyone has the Yu-Gi-Oh! Singapore dub I could download. Message me. Thank you. Hey, shout out to Mrs. Gamezilla, who knows what she wants and is not afraid to ask for it. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Singapore dub is pretty cool, man. I'm the Pharaoh. My link tree isn't working. It's a blank white page. Oh, is that on my YouTube? Yeah, that's probably an old link. I need to fix that. You'll have to forgive me for that. I didn't know I had a link tree. Barry MK400. I can only imagine how a Mark Remark would be on 2000 WCW. I can only imagine because I didn't watch WCW at that time. So it might actually be fun now that you've mentioned it, because WCW was full of risible content. It would be fun to make fun of, certainly from back then. That's a nice idea. Joe Steotan, thank you for the super chat. Using the Pinball Wizard version of Elton John. I'm watching you, homie. Hey, Pinball Wizard is goated. Tommy is a great movie. He can't beat me now, I've always been the champ. I know every trick, no freak's gonna beat my hand. How do you think he does? I don't know what makes him so good. Well, he ain't got no distractions, can't hear no buzzes and bells. Sorry. It's catchy. Can't stop singing it. Elton John, he's just taken over. He's like the Yami Yugi of me. Carlisle the Cinephile. Are you related to Bill Nye the Science Guy? Thank you for the super chat. Yami Bakura. Oh, thank God the bloody filler arc is finally over. Now my plot against the Pharaoh can finally come to fruition. What the bloody hell is Capsule Monsters? You know, it would be very funny. I personally do not want to acknowledge the Capsule Monsters as canon, so it's not part of the Abridged series. It's not canon, but I appreciate that people think it is. Oh, and I saw a recent super chat. Kelsey LaCroix, sorry. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, little Karibo, my friend Dusk is having a really hard time lately. Could Marek tell them things will get better and they're awesome?
Dusk, this is Manic Sebastian Ishtar III reaching out across the internet to tell you things can only get better, and I assure you they will. There comes a time in your life when it feels like everything's going wrong, everything's falling apart, and there's no way to climb out of it, but I assure you, the ladders are there, you just can't see them yet, and they're hard to get a handhold on when you're feeling stressed, but you will pull yourself out of it. Sometimes it's hard to see the sun behind the clouds, but it's still freaking there, you know? So Dawn, I hope that you can look forward to a new dawn yourself. I'm Manic Sebastian Ishtar, and I think your life is worth friggin' living. And I hope that one day you feel that way as well. Because it's true.
All right, I'm going to quickly rush through a bunch of these super chats, and then I'm going to stop, because I said I would stop in 5 minutes. Hashtag #DisUSPotovi. Thank you for the super chat. Has Kazuki Takahashi ever had a chance to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged at any point? I don't know. I would assume not. Gakitori, thank you for the super chat. You judged an FF battle. Oh! An FF battle at VancouverCon 2011 where all our attacks were memes. We made the second round because you commended our creativity. I was so happy we got the chance to show you the other jokes I wrote. Thank you. What is FF? Is that fanfiction? That sounds like I think I know what con you're talking about. Was I a judge? I forget. Anyway, you'll have to forgive me. I'm grateful that I had the chance to do that, and thank you for performing and for doing so well. Is it Final Fantasy? Is that a thing? Oh, no, it totally is. Yeah, it was turn-based. Now I remember. Yeah, was I a judge on that? Gosh, I didn't realize. It doesn't seem fair that I'd be a judge. My friends were in that contest. I think they won. Am I a corrupt judge? Color Theories, thank you for the super chat. I bought the first triple volume of the original manga. It's easy to say OG manga is dark, but it's easy to see Takahashi's love of games inserted into the manga pages themselves. Yes, that's very true. As everybody talks about how dark the early manga is with people dying and everything, but it's still really fun. You know, it's still a lot of fun, and you can see the love in that artwork. I'll read a few more, and then I'm going to have to save the rest of the super chats to the end of the stream, so please forgive me if I don't read any more super chats for a while. And please forgive me if I don't read the chat generally. That's on me. I try to check it out when I can. Lone Wolf's Lair, thank you for the super chat. Hey, little Karibo, hope you're feeling well. Glad to see more Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged. Have a wonderful day. You have a wonderful day, Lone Wolf. Stash Hand, thank you for the super chat. Next time on Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged, Florence won't be waiting much longer. We finally reached Sorkin Pals. I eagerly await the final story arc of this 2-decade project. Thanks for the latest episode. I am also eagerly awaiting. I am eager. And I'm really quickly going to shout out Tigerman4545 in the chat. What made you decide to change Mai's voice in Season 4? The fact that I hated voicing her. I just thought Season 4, she has a whole new attitude and a new vibe and a new look, and I just didn't think I could pull it off. I felt like I needed, at the time, our roommate Caitlin Elizabeth to voice her, and she did a tremendous job, by the way. Shout out to Caitlin. Very good performance as Mai. Definitely better than anything I could have done for that. Flynn, thank you for the super chat. Kaiba mentioned Exodia in the new episode, but somehow didn't go through Exodia PTSD. What the hell? Yeah, all of his other PTSDs kind of took over the Exodia one. He's gotten over that a bit. All right. I keep talking shit, but it's time to do some shit talking over the new episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, which I keep hyping up and saying we're going to watch it, and let's actually do that, you know? Let's actually watch it, like I said. And I'll try my best to keep an eye on the chat while we're doing this. Because, yeah, you guys presumably will have some thoughts of your own that I won't want to ignore. I'll want to check those out. But this episode just came out today. This episode literally came out 4 hours ago or so. About that. Many of you, I assume all of you, have seen the episode. And if you haven't, go watch it and then come back to the stream. I'm going to quickly drink some more tea. Sorry. Yeah, but this is the final episode of the Grand Championship filler arc. It is the 89th episode of my show, but I want to say it's the 196th episode through the 198th of Yu-Gi-Oh! Let me look this up. Episode 196. Yeah, Yugi versus Leon. That's where it starts. So this covers episodes 196 through 198. And there are some people who would say, this episode's 20 minutes long. I thought it was supposed to be abridged. And I consider that to be abridged because it's abridging 3 episodes, which is more than an hour's worth of content, into 19 minutes. So I think that's pretty satisfactorily abridged. I think I've done a dang good job of abridging. But yeah. In fact, let me rewind because this isn't where it really... We're supposed to have like a black screen. There we go. I'm going to just watch it and talk about the process and explain some of the jokes that I feel need explaining, or just talk about it and how I feel about it. But this was kind of a daunting one overall because it was the last, the sort of climactic duel. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but to me, I'm like, Leon versus Yami Yugi. Leon being a character we barely know, and Yami Yugi being a character that had to sit out most of this tournament anyway. It's weird. It's a weird decision to have this be sort of the big, main event. I understand that ultimately it's revealed that Leon is just part of Siegfried's plan, but even that makes it weird and underwhelming, But let's go. Let's check out the beginning of this episode. The first joke of this episode, I think, kind of, I feel bad for the rest of the jokes, because I really think that the 5-star Blue Eyes Hotel joke is one of the better jokes of the episode. And it's one of the better card game-based jokes I've made ever, which is why when Mokuba says, "That's a card game joke," Taya's like, "I didn't think we did those." Because there was a time when I just wouldn't.
Thanks for letting us stay.
Where's the image? What's going on, player?
Thanks for letting us stay at your swanky.
What's going on? Hang on. It might be giving trouble. Hang on. I was having some technical problems at the top of the stream. One sec. I do apologize. My computer is being very slow. This shouldn't be happening, though. Play the video, please. Sorry, guys. I think VLC players are being a dick. Give me a sec here. I don't know what's happening. Sorry, guys. Let me try something here. I'll use a different player. And I'll have to really quickly update this on my OBS. I do apologize, folks. It's not... I wasn't expecting that to happen at all. Is that going to work? Yeah, I guess the episode is cursed. What's happening? All right. I guess my video players just aren't cooperating for some reason. Yeah, I do need some cyborg lesbians to help me with this problem. One sec, folks. One sec. I think I can fix this. Okay. And now, do this. Little scuff rebo. There we go. All right. Small turtle house. All right. Water in the fire. Why? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna hit play.
Thanks for letting us stay at your swanky 5-star Blue Eyes Hotel, Mokuba.
Actually, Blue Eyes is 8 stars.
I just love that everybody is staring at Mokuba. We love your hotel. Let's gather around you and worship you.
Huh? Sorry, that's a card game joke.
Oh, I didn't think we did those.
As I said, there was a time when I just would not make card game jokes. In fact, I wouldn't even acknowledge the card games existed sometimes. In fact, I want to say my modus operandi, my MO back in the day, was just cut out all the card games, make jokes about the characters, nothing else has to happen. But here, in these last 2 seasons, I've kind of gone out of my way to acknowledge the card game and try to do things with it. And I think I got it down, I wouldn't say to a science, but but I've gotten it down to a pretty good rhythm at this point where I can make jokes about the card game and also the characters. So far, so good.
I hope Yugi's ready for his duel against a 10-year-old German kid. Clearly his greatest challenge yet.
I don't know how many of you noticed, but I really wanted the crowd sort of clapping and stomping to become Yugi's footsteps here. I don't do a lot of edits like this, but this was kind of an intentional, interesting thing I wanted to do where the sound of the crowd became Yugi's footsteps, which emphasized that he's alone in there and that, you know, he's doing the slow trudge to do the duel. You know, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I was just trying to do a fun little edit thing.
All his billions of dollars, and Kaiba can't even
Now look, I just want to point out a bad thing. You can very easily see the background being wrong next to Yugi's mouth here. This is one of those edits where I got so far into the process of editing the whole thing, and I was so close to finishing, that little things like this kind of, I decide they don't matter so much because nobody's going to notice them. If I were Kaiser Neko saying this, I would not be saying this. I would be like, oh, that's a terrible thing. I regret that that edit is like that. I personally don't really care. I think the joke still works, and the edit still works, you know, for the brief time that it's on screen. But yeah, no, that is one of those things where I just decided it doesn't matter. I just want to finish the video. Let's keep going.
ring for a fucking elevator? Pharaoh, do you want to switch? I feel like I've been walking for 20 minutes.
Now, Yugi. Only the biggest bitch who ever bitched would bitch about having to climb a few measly steps.
And I hope everybody understands that he's calling out Kaiba, even though he doesn't know that Kaiba did that.
Can you imagine? But yeah, move over. I'm gonna...
Oh no, it keeps freezing. What is this?
Feel like
How do I fix this? You'll have to forgive me, folks.
I've been
I don't know why that's happening.
walking for
I want to be able to pause the video and talk about it, but we're having this issue. I don't know how to get around that.
20 minutes.
Why is this happening? Okay, I guess I should have tested this somehow. See if the video's on YouTube instead. It might be. But I'm confused. Surely this shouldn't be a problem. Hang on. Bear with me. Apparently I have to fix this on stream, so forgive me while I'm dealing with this for a moment. Yurusei 6732 says this show was funnier when the episodes were 3 minutes long. So like for a week. I think that's valid though. If you prefer the shorter episodes, I understand. I think the characters have sort of outgrown that constraint. But I completely get it if some of you are like, oh, I prefer the shorter, faster, gimmicky episodes. Because the gimmick was part of the appeal. Ugh, this is going to take forever. Hang on. I don't know how to deal with this problem. Give me a sec. It might be just the video itself, but... Let me try a different player. Yes. Sorry, folks. I know. It's annoying. I'm also annoyed.
Thanks for letting us.
It's not even showing now. Okay, let me try something here. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know this was gonna happen. I would not have allowed this to be a thing if I'd realized. Okay. So that's there. Give me a sec. I think we've got this, but give me a sec. Yes, the guy who deals with video footage a lot doesn't know what he's doing with this video. No. Damn it. Damn it. We can do this, I swear. It's gonna happen. Okay. Let's try this. We'll just start the episode again. How about that? And I'm going to put it behind me so I can actually indicate things on the screen if I need to. Sorry, guys. I know. It's frustrating. Okay. Let me try hit and play.
Stay at your swanky 5-star Blue Eyes Hotel.
Hang on. That's me doing that. That's not the thing.
Mokuba.
Actually, Blue Eyes is 8 stars. Huh? Sorry, that's a card game joke.
Oh, I didn't think we did those.
I hope Yugi's ready for his duel against...
Wait, what's going on? I just clocked that it's behind me as well? What's that? Oh, that's me. All right, sorry about that.
The 10-year-old German kid, clearly his greatest challenge yet.
All his billions of dollars, and Kaiba can't even spring for a fucking elevator? Pharaoh, do you want to switch? I feel like I've been walking for 20 minutes.
Now, Yugi. Only the biggest bitch who ever bitched would bitch about having to climb a few measly steps.
I want to point out, okay, first of all, it seems to be working all right. At least, I say that, now I've paused it, we're going to find out if it's still working. This moment in the script, that this is a very classic example of me writing a joke and it not matching the footage, but me doing it anyway. Both of them are smiling. Both of them are very happy. But the things they're saying are like, oh, this is, I'm exhausted, and imagine the stupid thing. But I didn't care. I just thought it sort of added to the humor that they were smiling while saying it.
Can you imagine?
Hey, it's
But
still going.
Move over. I'm going to show these stairs who's boss.
King of Stairs, baby. Now I want to point out that Yami Yugi, up until this episode, in Season 5 so far, he's barely been in it. He's been inside Yugi's head, just chilling out, being like, oh, the Grand Prix, yeah, very funny, sure. What a fun little silly diversion. But he's not really been involved. The most that he's done is duel Vivian Wong, which wasn't part of the tournament. It was just a sexy subplot. But he's, for the most part, been benched. So it's been really difficult for me because I think Yami Yugi is the funniest character in the show as far as abridging goes. And so having him not be part of it really affected like my approach to everything. I needed to sort of have every other character step up their game a bit, including characters that I personally never thought were that funny to begin with. So I struggled. So this moment where he comes back in, oh, he dueled the AI in episode 83. You're right, he does do that as well. I forgot about that. So he has that moment where he switches with Yugi and he's like, little help here. But this moment where they have the da-da, and he's like, King of Stairs, baby. That was my way of being like, oh, he's back. Finally. We don't have to miss him anymore. Eliezer, like who? Who is not funny? Well, I'll be honest, there's nothing against the character. It's more the way I write her. But I never thought Rebecca was a hugely funny character, especially without her teddy bear. But I really wanted her to have, you know, her own thing going on a little bit and you know, make her a bit funny, make her a bit funnier, elevate her a little bit. But yeah.
I could be making so many Super Mario Vironsexik references right now.
And people have asked already what that is. Super Mario 64 in German, I believe.
Oh, hello there, Leon Wilson, who I have no idea who he is or what he is doing.
Now look at this. I want to point out, when I was editing this, I knew there were people who were going to look at this and be like, those are some terrible lip flaps. Look how, that doesn't even look like it's on his face. Those are from the original show. I didn't edit that mouth. I knew, I had a feeling, and I don't know if people did think this, but whenever I edited this moment, whenever I was working on this scene, I was like, people are going to look at that mouth and be like, oh, little Karibo doesn't know what he's doing. No, that's from the actual show. And then he leans forward and his mouth is even worse.
You know what would be really cool?
Look at that.
If you use
Hang on.
children's trick.
There, look at that mouth. It just looks bad. Like, it looks like they've just done a huge void over his face a little bit. Anyway, this joke, I when I was writing it, I didn't know how it would play. I was really hoping it would play well. I still don't know how I feel about it. But the fact that he's leaning down and offering a card to Leon, and Leon is like, I'm trying to grab it. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Just give him the card. Or why is he having trouble taking a card from you? You're literally handing it to him? How is he not grabbing it? Why is it difficult? So anyway, that's what I was trying to convey with this.
Trading card in your imminent duel with Yugi Muto. Why are you having such trouble taking the card from me? What is this?
I'm just tiny little guy.
Oh my god, just take the freaking card.
Like, obviously I'm exaggerating it a bit because he's taken forever. And in the actual episode, it kind of fades out on him reaching for it. And I'm not saying that there is no situation in which he wouldn't be able to get the card, but why is it like this? Why are they so far apart when this moment happens? Why can't he just take the card? Dang. I'm gonna miss that intro because I really do think that that's the funniest, the funniest intro. Might not be the best intro, but the reveal of the logo. I'm gonna miss this moment with the maids, the very stone-faced maids who are helping the beautiful Siegfried remove his clothes there. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the new intro is going to be because I assume the next intro is going to be ancient Egypt themed. So I'm going to have to actually go and watch a lot of footage from the season 5 second half to come up with a good kawaii-ta sakebida bit because I don't know what I'm going to do. But goodbye, sexy Siegfried and your sexy maids.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this filler arc to finally die?
Obviously, I'm expressing a lot of sentiment coming from me because not just from the abridged version, but in the original show, I was like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this tournament? I get it, it's filler, and it happens in every anime to an extent, but here it's just pretty egregious because it's right before the final story thing. And it's coming off the heels of another filler arc, by the way. What was I going to say? I wanted to point out that line where he goes, this filler arc to finally die. I had to re-record that because his voice was peaking on the die, and I didn't worry about it until like the last minute where I re-recorded a bunch of the dialogue. But for the longest time, his voice just peaked big time on die. And I thought it kind of was funny that he screamed it that loud. But I think that ultimately it sounds better this way. Sometimes I think that the audio having, sometimes I think audio glitches can be funny, but I just didn't want it here.
I mean, are you ready for the exciting conclusion to this impossible-to-follow tournament?
Someone in the chat says, was Waking the Dragons filler? Yes, absolutely. That is not in the original manga. It was only there, I assume, so they could finish the final season, the final chapter of the story. It is not canon. And yet, a lot of people love that season. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I personally have gravitated more toward it in later years. I hated it at the time because it was filler. But that is an example of filler that everybody has fond memories of, you know? And the Noah arc is filler too, yeah?
Defending his title, it's the man who somehow makes total indifference look undeniably sexy. It's Yugi Muto! I have no strong feelings about any of this.
He doesn't say anything in the original. He just walks out and pouts and doesn't say a single thing, and then they just go to Leon. But I really wanted to take this moment to acknowledge that he just looks completely disinterested. He doesn't look like this is a really important duel. It isn't an important duel as far as he's concerned. So he just is like, I don't care. It's kind of a variation on the Futurama neutral people joke, where he comes out, he's like, all I know is my heart says maybe. Stuff like that.
And the challenger, straight out of Kindergarten. It's Leon Wilson.
I have always dreamed of challenging you to a children's card game, Yugi.
Always. I only started playing the game like a year ago.
Ever since I was a child, I have imagined this moment.
So, like, since yesterday then? You were imagining it last night? Yeah, me too, I suppose.
I want to acknowledge that joke, which becomes a big running joke in this episode, that Leon has been training his whole life for this. That is actually a line in the dub. I don't know if it's in the Japanese, but Leon basically says, I've been waiting my whole life for this moment, and I've been playing the game my whole life. And it's impossible. It's impossible. Right? Not just because of his age, but because the game isn't that old. Like, the game is relatively new as far as society is concerned. Yami Yugi hasn't been around for that long. He's not even been there for like a year. It's wild. So yeah, no, that struck me when I was watching the original episode. I was like, that has to be a joke.
You can cut the tension with a knife, but the knife would have to be invisible due to censorship, of course. And now to hand things over to the man of the hour, the reason we're all here.
Hey man, it's Joey Wheeler here. I hope you're enjoying the Grand Prix. You're a grand prick.
Now, that's, I think, aside from the next line, that's the last time we make a Grand Prix joke, which I think is the perfect bookending of this running joke, because it means it gets used on Joey, but he's the one that's been saying it the whole time. But I will point out, there's a weird element to this gag, because, first of all, Joey sees a camera on a flying blimp and starts talking to it. It's like miles away from you. How does he know that it's pointed at him? I mean, it's Joey. He just has a sense of these things when he's got the spotlight on him. I'm like, hey, man, it's me, Joey Wheeler.
Make way for the grandest prick of them all, Mr. Seto Kaiba! For the record, my prick is way grander.
We're gonna have to take your word for it, Duke.
Yeah, he's right.
I have gathered the biggest group of nerds in the entire world into one place.
I want to acknowledge that a good way of making Kaiba scenes funnier, I've learned, is just play down the whole time, because everybody knows that that's his theme song. Everybody knows that as the Kaiba Hacker theme. So when it plays and he's just talking goofy shit, it's somehow much funnier to hear the very serious.
But enough about Yugi and his friends. It's time to determine who will be the new royalty of recreation. It's like King of Games, but way cooler. I think you'll agree.
It doesn't sound that cool to me.
Sorry, can't hear you, Wheeler. I'm too busy presenting my upsetting waistline.
Oh, God, what's
You
going
okay,
on
man?
down
What
here?
is going on down there?
Now, this is a kind of a meme, I want to say. I might be getting this wrong because it's been a while since I was really actively involved in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fandom directly. I'm kind of on the outskirts of it, I would say, for the last 10 years or so, just because it's been difficult to stay on top of Yu-Gi-Oh! As well as do everything else. But if I remember rightly, this image of Kaiba doing this is kind of a meme, because the artwork is so... Look at his fingers, for starters. His fingers are very upsetting. He's got, like, Gollum hands. But yeah, no, I think because of the artwork and the way he looks and how, like, bendy and weirdly skinny he is... It's a big old meme in Yu-Gi-Oh! If I remember rightly.
It's been my move. I summon the big bad Wolfen.
I really am bothered by the giant mouth. I know it comes up later with Tristan, he mentions it, but the giant mouth seems so unnecessary, and it seems very specific to whoever's drawing these episodes. I think they love giant mouths, and I don't.
Hey, I think I met that guy at Anthrocon.
Gee, Grandma, what lame monsters you have.
I will say I re-recorded this line very late into the process, because originally for this bit I'd recorded him being very low-key, like, gee, Grandma, what lame monsters you have, because I thought it was going to be a not very exciting shot, and then I ended up using it on this, which is the dramatic zooming background and everything. So I was like, he can't just go, gee, Grandma, what lame monster. He has to be like, gee, Grandma. So I had to give a different performance, and it was one of the last things I recorded for the episode. So every time I watch this, I'm like, it sounds different.
Now allow me to show you a real one by activating the spell card polymerization in order to summon Chimera, the flying mythical beast. And now I'm gonna huff and I'm gonna puff and I'm gonna blow your fairy tale bullshit to smithereens.
I want to point out that the way he says huff and piff, very funny. I'm gonna huff and I'm gonna piff. Let's go with the wolf. Again, an upsetting mouth.
Why was the wolf's mouth so upsettingly big?
All the better to yiff you with, my dear.
And now I have to ask, I'm the writer of this episode, of this abridged episode, and every time I hear Joey say that, I'm like, did you fuck that wolf? I don't know if he did. I'm not going to ask, and I'm not going to think too hard about it. But, Span lover, don't get political in the damn video. Come on. What do you mean? Political? The wolf? The giant mouth? Is that what's political? All right.
Got any more Into the Woods rejects in there?
Well, as a matter of fact, yeah. I summon Rotkäppchen in attack mode.
Rotkäppchen, apparently the German word for Little Red Riding Hood. I in the script when I wrote it, I put like a little brackets thing that just said German for Little Red Riding Hood because I didn't know what the word was. I didn't bother to look it up. But when we were recording it, I was like, let's Google it. Let's Google what the actual word is. And so we discovered this while recording it. And it was honestly, Rotkäppchen sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh monster in retrospect. It sounds fun to summon it.
Ain't that the one chick from Darkstalkers?
Summon Morrigan, you cowards!
Now, the only reason Taya is the one screaming, "Summon Morrigan, you cowards," is because she's the only other one that had lip flaps in this scene. She's like, I don't know why she really wants Morrigan summoned, but it's funnier when Joey's like, "Ain't that the chick from Darkstalkers?" Confused with a scratchy head. And then Taya yells, "Summon Morrigan!" Like, what? Why does she want that? I mean, you can't blame her, but I also really love Roland staring blankly at the bread. Like, I really wanted to do something with Roland. Just, is he intimidated by the bread? Is it giving him thoughts? Is he having urges about the bread?
Something's wrong. Leon isn't acting like his usual self.
We've known him for less than a day, and he's a
I hope the volume is high enough for you guys.
child.
Yeah, but he's so out of character.
I honestly forgot he even was a character. He's been in what, like 2.5 episodes?
Now, I'm not going to say that Leon's only been in 2.5 episodes, but that's how it feels. That's how it feels to me, that Leon's only been around he's not been around long enough for anyone to know who he is. That's my feeling, you know? So the fact that he's even here, and Yugi's like, there's something wrong. It's like, you don't know him. He might be like this all the time. Eon Blue, yes, Yugi was uncharacteristically nice in this scene. I guess it's because in the actual footage, Yami Yugi is the one that looks kind of defiant and confused, whereas Yugi looks concerned. So because I wanted the joke to play off of what is the original dialogue is, sometimes it's okay for Yugi to seem nice. But I think in this case, it's not so much that he's being nice, rather he's curious and he wants to know what the deal is. That's kind of how I look at it. Thank you, Arm Goes Boom. I appreciate that in the chat.
We owe it to him to try and find out what's wrong.
The only thing I owe his ass is a whooping, and I'm fixing to pay my debts.
Now, I hate that shot. I'm going to go back and show you. And this is another thing I kind of gave up on late into the editing process. It looked worse originally.
Even was a character. He's been in what, like 2.5 episodes?
We owe it to him to try and find out what's wrong.
Now, I'm going to lean in. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to look at it. Watch this next shot and watch his chin and his hair. Like the side of his face where his hair is. You can see all the editing happening. You can see all the layers not quite matching. If you're paying attention.
The only thing I owe him.
See, you can see right here, there's a bunch of, like, the hair is sort of changing the outline. And there's an area here where it's not very defined. And the nose was originally way worse. The nose was originally changing with every flap. And I had to go in and kind of do my best to fix it without flipping out and stressing out. But as a result, it still doesn't look good, in my opinion. But it looks good enough So again, it's a situation like the Yugi shot earlier, where
His ass is a whooping, and I'm fixing to pay my debts.
it's not easy to notice if you're not paying attention. So I kind of feel like everything, that kind of an edit is okay. It looks rough to me, but I don't think most people are going to notice it. It's definitely there. I assure you.
I summon the discombobulated Celtic Guardian. I have no fucking clue what's going on.
Ah, yeah, we're gonna see you murder an innocent child. It's season 0 all over again, baby.
I want to just point out everybody's exhilaration, except for Rebecca, who was just sort of like, "Nyeh." And then Tristan's just on another level back there. Discombobulated Celtic Guardian, I didn't go back and check to see if I'd used it already. I don't think I did. Discombobulated. I think that's a great adjective, and I think I don't know how many times the Celtic Guardian comes out from here on, but discombobulated is a good one to go out on. I'm always torn between adding lip flaps for the Celtic Guardian, but then I'm also like, no, these guys don't talk. These is monsters. So he just makes that noise. His voice is his noise.
Celtic Guardian, channel all the power of your abdominal muscles into destroying that tiny girl.
That was for Hoodwinked, bitch. I want to point out, I've never seen Hoodwinked. I've never seen Hoodwinked. There are people in the comments saying, hey, Hoodwinked was good. You might be right. I don't know. It probably is. But Yami Yugi apparently hates it. Apparently, at some point in the year of him being in our world, he watched Hoodwinked and did not like it. But shout out to everybody who loves Hoodwinked. Your opinions are valid. He disagrees, not me. Apparently, he holds that against Rod Caption.
Destroying that monster allows me to summon my forest hunter in his upsettingly short skirt.
Oh, wow. Forest Hunter, could you at least put on some underwear? I can totally see the wood for the trees.
Now, looking back at this, I'm just thinking about this right now. I could have put like a little sensor circle around his junk area, the Forest Hunter. It probably would have made the joke work better because you can see that there's nothing to see.
Forest hunter, make chimeras a mythical beast even more mythical than before!
Now, not to call Marin out, and I don't know even if you can hear it very well in this, but they were struggling with the word mythical because it's Chimera the mythical beast, and the joke is make Chimera the mythical beast even more mythical, but they kept saying mystical. And even now, I listen to the line and I'm like, did I use the mystical take? I don't think I did.
Annoying.
That's one of my favorite bits in the episode. That right there, when he gets like sprayed with the holographic dust of his monster and he goes, annoying? It just feels very real. It feels like a very real moment that wasn't meant to be necessarily a joke, but it's pissing him off.
Got bits of chimera hologram in my mouth.
Ever since I was a little boy, I've imagined this moment.
So again, like what, this morning?
And yet I cannot even enjoy myself, for I have a job to do.
You're actually legally required to enjoy yourself at my theme park.
Now, Mokuba, in the original footage, Mokuba is right here. And I had to go in and take him out because he's down here. This is a shot from later in the episode where Kaiba comes out and is like, actually everything is fine. And Mokuba stood next to him. But there wasn't any good footage to use for this line aside from this moment. And so I was like, I'm just going to trim Mokuba out somehow. So he's actually here. And I basically took a screenshot of when Kaiba's coming out and when he stood here and used the two screenshots to get rid of Mokuba manually. I kidnapped Mokuba from the shot. I didn't even think about it that way. But now Taya and Duke have teleported? What do you mean? Have they? What do you mean? They just might have walked a little bit this way. They might have just walked around each other. Like that. I don't think that requires teleportation. But yes, Mokuba is gone.
Every child signs a contract upon entry that states as much. Go read the fine print, you pint-sized punk.
Mr. Kaiba, this piece of paper has something very important to tell you.
Grab.
Now, I'm still of various minds about this, and I also want to point out how upsetting Duke looks down here. He looks like a different character. His hair is all over the fucking place. But when Kaiba says grab, I went through so many versions of that. I didn't know what sounded funny by the end of it. I said the word grab like 50 times in various ways. And I don't know if I went with the funniest one, but I really tried. Him saying grab. It was originally like grab. And I don't know if that was funnier or grab.
You know, this really could have been an email. In fact, it is an email that you wrote out and then printed and brought to me for some reason. Just send an email, man.
Sir, it just seemed very important.
Yeah, so email it.
And if you're wondering what that piece of paper says in the actual episode, this piece of paper is like proof that Leon is Siegfried's brother, I think. For some reason, it took till this moment for them to actually do a background check on their competitors. And so the other guy, not Roland, Jerry or whatever his name is, I've forgotten, he brings this piece, he sees on a screen, and he's like, oh my God! And he runs and gives this piece of paper to Kaiba, even though he could have called him on a phone or something. And he's like, look, this is who that guy is. It's weird. It's a very strange plot point. It's a weird plot device. Like, how did they only just learn?
Oh, shilly Shadow Kaiba getting all shiced up over a shilly piece of paper.
What do you want, you pink-haired fuck?
I wrote that line in the script, and I immediately laughed. That is not the reason it's uncensored. I thought it was going to be funny even if it was censored. But then when I thought about it, when I was working on the episode, and I said, what do you want, you pink-haired fuck? And I thought of it with a bleep. I realized, oh shit, people are going to assume he said something way worse. Just because of the nature of the interaction and the characters at play. So, upon realizing this, I was like, okay, there has to be an explanation as to why it wasn't censored. And so he gets to say the F word again. I figured I could give him 2 F words. If anybody deserves it, it's him.
Oh, you swore so scandalously. I'm surprised the censors didn't stop you.
Yeah, they would have, but 1, I'm Seto Kaiba, and 2, if I was censored, people would have thought I said an entirely different, way more offensive F word.
And 3,
I'm Seto fucking Kaiba. Now what is it?
Oh, nothing, no big deal. I'm just here to explain that you have been totally punked by me, Siegfried von Schroeder, aka the new Ashton Kutcher.
I love the way he moves in that shot as he's explaining his stupid fucking... his stupid little plan, his stupid little prank. Where he's just like, yeah, it was me, Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, we dealt with that. You're done.
I don't think I am. You see, Leon Wilson isn't who you think he is. He's actually my little brother. And he's here to ruin your tournament, just in case I wasn't able to seal the deal.
Now, that shot of him getting all crazy face, it was tempting to do something funny and silly with that. And even though it is still silly because it's him saying it, I kind of just wanted that to be like, oh, he reveals the truth, because I haven't really revealed it properly in the show. And this is the moment where it gets explained. But I have been building to the reveal. So it would have been weird if I didn't allow that moment to sort of just play out as it is. It's also just funny to me that he thinks this is such a huge gotcha. That is my brother. What? Okay, Siegfried.
Oh my God, is anyone in this tournament not pretending to be somebody else?
I'm Joey.
Yeah, unfortunately. Explain your deal, Siegfried.
It pleasure. My brother Leon is going to win your tournament and make it so Schroeder Corp's new gaming system becomes the new hot seller.
I had to go back and watch the episode a few times because I didn't really understand why Siegfried was doing this. I didn't understand what the ultimate goal was with having Leon win the tournament, because it kind of makes sense if Siegfried wins that it is like sticking it to Kaiba, but if Leon wins, who fucking cares? So I was like, what is the actual motivation here? And he does explain, yeah, when my brother wins your tournament, everyone's gonna buy my gaming system. I was like, what? No, why would that do anything related to that? Also, what is your gaming system, bro? Where is it? Show us. Maybe it's not good. Maybe it is good. How is it related to this?
Isn't that right, Leon von Schroeder?
Ja, mein Bruder, I've waited for this moment since the day I was born.
So, like last week,
Hang on. Why would your kid brother
Yeah.
winning my tournament increase your gaming system sales?
Exactly.
You don't see Miyamoto be like, hey, buy the new Nintendo because my brother won a Beyblade contest at some point.
But wouldn't that make you really want the Nintendo?
No, it would just make me want to play Beyblade, which is something I'd usually never admit to.
Kaiba talking about being ashamed of playing Beyblade. Dude, you have no shame. Come on, embrace your inner Beyblade warrior, or whatever they call them.
Leon von whatever, I'ma call you the Berlin Wall because I'm about to bring you down.
Go, mein Black Knight! Destroy his obnoxious Celtic Guardian! More like the Celtic Guardian!
I'm so fucked. Man, everyone is swearing today. Leon said the F word. Kaiba said Beyblade. We're really giving Vibsipop a run for her money.
It's weird that we've existed long enough to make that reference.
A lot of things to talk about there. First off, that was the last line I recorded for the episode. Not that whole thing, but the bit where Yami says, Leon said the F word, Kaiba said Beyblade. I originally fucked up. And in the original script, and what I ended up recording was, Kaiba said the F word, Siegfried said Beyblade, and I only caught it once I'd rendered it and uploaded it to the YouTube channel, and was ready for it to go live. Literally last night. And then I watched it back and I realized, no, Siegfried didn't say Beyblade. Kaiba said Beyblade, nobody else said Beyblade. Shit. So, I had to spend like an hour or two rewriting the line. Obviously, that didn't take any time. Recording the line, putting it back in the episode, re-editing the dialogue and the lip flaps. It was very frustrating. And I knew if I didn't fix it, all I would hear from people was, hey, Siegfried didn't say Beyblade. So I really wanted this moment to stand on its own and not have any like quibbles or inaccuracies, because I do think this is a funny moment. One of the funnier moments of the episode. So I had to do that. That was the last thing. That was the very last thing I did for the episode was fix that problem. Additionally, the Vibsipop reference. Vibsipop, I learned very recently. This is something that I didn't know, or at least I certainly wasn't cognizant of. I might have subconsciously known this somehow. I guess Vibsipop was a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged fan back in the day. I myself have only seen some of her works, and, I think it's really cool that she's so successful. I'm sure she doesn't necessarily remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged or being a fan of it anymore. But I thought it would be fun, having learned that, to throw in a little nod, a little acknowledgement, and, maybe she'll enjoy it. She probably won't even know that it happened. But I think that I think that it's ultimately a nice little sort of, it's a nice little reference that led me to have the exact train of thought that Yugi expresses, which is, it's weird that we've lasted long enough to make that reference. That was my literal thought after I came up with that. I was like, how am I able to mention Vibsipop in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged episode in today's day and age? So when Yugi says that, it is literally what I was thinking, and it feels like it's what everybody was thinking at the time when they watched that.
Now, it's time for my tragic backstory.
Here we go. This is always very juicy. Yu-Gi-Oh! Antagonists always have some pretty messed up situations that explain their actions altogether.
I was a child living in luxury, and I like to play card games, but my family was like, hey, don't play those card games, but I did it anyway, and I got really good at it.
If you don't know, Leon's backstory isn't dissimilar to that. I kind of very, very briefly, I wanted it to be as brief as possible for the purposes of the joke, and because there's so much else happening. But yeah, it's not a very interesting backstory or explanation. It's ultimately, literally, Leon wants to play with his brother, and his family are like, basically, they're setting his brother up for success. They're setting Siegfried up to be the successful one, and for some reason they don't like Leon. They're like, you little brat, get back to your room or whatever. And so he sits in his room daydreaming, and then he ultimately becomes a really like successful duelist. He learns how to play the card game, and he has like a run of good fortune on like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Black market. I don't know what you'd call it. The underground dueling scene. And he goes by a fake name. And then Siegfried finds out that he's using a fake name, and he kind of blackmails him, I think. But it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird backstory because it doesn't necessarily explain that much about him as a person. It just kind of gives him a tragic element that doesn't quite work. Like, it doesn't make you feel bad for him because he's, you know, I hate to say it, he's still living in luxury. he's still, you know, surrounded by whatever he wants. I know that his obviously his parents are apparently being mean to him and saying, don't expect us to love you or something, which sucks, don't get me wrong. But, you know, it just doesn't really add up to much of a character here. So when I abbreviated it the way I did, it's like, that's really all you need to know because there's not much to it. It doesn't really come back at all.
That's it? No dead wives or anything?
Well, my only friends were the fairy tale creatures from the stories I would read to myself every night.
A children's card game enthusiast with no friends? That doesn't make any sense.
And I want to point out something that I think Chris in the chat mentioned to on Blue Sky earlier. A lot of these shots were shots that I ended up using in the video "What Would Yugi Do?" That I ended up using in a bunch of different videos. So when I got to this episode, I was struck by how familiar a lot of the footage ended up being because it's all stuff that I used in a different video altogether. So it was kind of like going down memory lane a little bit. But aside from, I don't know what else to add to that. But yeah, no, there were a lot of footage. There's a lot of clips here you might recognize from other videos.
And I have trained mine whole life to defeat you.
A few months then.
And to bring honor to the Von Schroeder family.
The only way to truly bring honor to you or your family is to take a look in the mirror and recognize your own faults. I learned that the hard way.
So he's referencing his little arc at the end of season 4, which I do want to emphasize. I do want to emphasize that Yami Yugi has kind of had a character arc in the abridged version. He's gone from being giant pompous asshole to being slightly less giant pompous asshole who does care about other people, but he's got an ego still. So it's not like a complete turnaround for him, but he does acknowledge that he used to be a worse person and now he's checked himself and he's trying his best to be a bit more respectful.
But if you want to try the easy way, I'll be more than happy to activate Mirror Force!
God, I thought my brother was fabulous, but Yugi is all the colors of the rainbow.
Behold, as I become more woke than you can possibly imagine!
I really wanted to create something, a moment that people could use against me if they wanted to. I wanted people to be like, this is what little Kuribo is. He's the wokest. Behold as he becomes more woke.
Mirror Force! That's one of the most powerful cards in all of Duel Monsters. Right, Solomon?
Hey!
Remember? When you'd always say, oh, that's the most powerful card in all of Duel Monsters. Except this time it really kind of is. Mirror Force isn't all that. It's so sad to see him slowly lose his mind.
I love these characters. I've talked about it on my previous streams, but I think Arthur Hawkins and Grandpa, two of my favorite characters to work for, to write for. Certainly in this season, I think they've really come into their own, especially Arthur. But this honestly, I had this. This is one of the earliest parts that I had a concept for the bridged version, and I talked about it multiple times on streams, which was Arthur sort of leaning into Grandpa and being like, it's the most powerful card in all of Duel Monsters, right? And Grandpa just not doing it. But it ends up being this kind of beautiful character moment. I want to point out that Grandpa's kind of been like this the whole time. Grandpa's been forgetting things and sort of off in his own world most of the show, but this is the first time that Arthur starts noticing it. So to me, it's funnier that Arthur was oblivious to this aspect of his friend. And he's like, oh, it's so depressing what's happening to him. No, he's been that way, man.
And now I bring out this card.
Look out! He's got a water pun! Ah, Leon's screwed now. OTK coming up.
And I sacrifice it in order to summon Dark Magician Girl.
What is he thinking? He had a perfectly good water pun. Yeah, is he stupid or something?
I don't remember where I started doing it. It might have been the Yugi versus Jaden rap. I don't even think that was it, because I think I dissed Waterpon in that one. But at some point, I decided that Waterpon is like an OP card that everybody's terrified of. I don't remember if I brought it up before in this way, but it's definitely something that every time Waterpon shows up, I think, oh my god, he's got a Waterpon.
No fair.
That's right, only real men use Waterpon. So it was kind of established in the Yugi versus Jaden rap, yeah.
Summoning such a sexy lady? Now I have no choice but to destroy her.
I know what you mean, kid.
I think he means destroy like in battle, Duke.
Oh, I guess I don't know what you mean, kid.
I like that just because it's very literal. He said sort of a colloquialism with the, I know what you mean. Oh, I don't know what you mean. I literally don't. Tilly, do you need help? Hang on, my dog needs help getting up on the couch. I'll be right back, one sec. Tilly. Come on. Up you come. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's okay. You need it pushed back? Here you go. Are you up on the couch now? Come on. Come on. You big goof. What you doing? Sorry, my dog needs moral support when she's jumping up on the couch. All right, we're coming up on another joke that I came up with very early in the process. This whole bit with Elton John. And I want to acknowledge, somebody mentioned earlier in the stream, you used the Pinball Wizard version of Elton John. And that, to me, is the definitive Elton John. Not to say that he was producing his best music back then, or that was like, you know, my favorite version of Elton John. I just think that the aura that he has is unlike anything else. He kind of is scary as the Pinball Wizard a little bit, especially in this bit because he's staring into your soul the whole time. But when I saw that, let me explain. Leon activates the card Castle of whatever it is, what Golden Castle of bullshit. And there's an extended sequence where the castle materializes. And I could have come up with dialogue to talk over it, but it really just sort of speaks for itself, and it's very long and awkward, and I wanted to do something musical with it, because I often just, like, I've talked about it on previous streams. Back in the day, I would just, if I couldn't think of a joke, I would play a song. Golden Castle of Stromberg. Thank you, guys. So in this case, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do a song, but I'm not just going to play music. I'm going to actually do a song that is a reference and is also involves me singing my own lyrics. And all I ever think about when I see the Golden Castle of Stromberg is the El Dorado opening titles. The Road to El Dorado from like 2000, where it's the really catchy Elton John song with the "A glorious city was built by the divinities, by gods." Like, that's a fun song. It gets you in the mood for a fun adventure. And I wanted to reference it here because it was stuck in my head because I was thinking about it while looking at that bloody castle. And the original version of this was much harsher to the movie. I'm not going to say that I'm nice to the movie, because I am kind of dismissive of the movie in this little gag. But the original lyrics, I ad-libbed the whole thing, basically. I recorded like 10 different versions where I was just coming up with bullshit. But the original version was more like, there's nothing to this movie. Nobody remembers what happens in this movie. But this, it ultimately became more about there's a hot chick in the movie and that's all anybody talks about. So yeah, I re-recorded this a few times because I was very out of tune, and I'm still kind of out of tune, but I think that adds to the joke. I think it's funnier that he's not singing very well. Chef Circuit, thank you for the super chat. Missed opportunity to say the Disney Castle card. I feel like I've made enough Disney references, though. I feel like we've done that. I feel like DreamWorks and Road to El Dorado specifically is more of a thinking man's joke. Here we go, though.
I draw! This is the card my brother entrusted to me.
Summon it, Leon.
Summon it.
Summon that card right now and show everyone the true glory of a von Schroeder. With accompanying vocals by Sir Elton John.
And made El Dorado. It's a movie by DreamWorks. And there's a hot chick in it. There's a hot chick in this movie. And that's all anybody brings up.
You know, I finally believe you aren't Pegasus. Even he was more subtle than this.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed getting to sing. I enjoy singing. I don't think I'm a good singer, but I have a fun time when I sing. And it always seems to liven things up a bit when I sing in these videos. People get a kick out of it. So I hope that people do enjoy that moment. Is El Dorado by Elton John? Most of the music is done by Elton John, and I forget the other person. You'll have to forgive me. But, you know, Elton John is definitely the vocalist on most of those songs for the movie. And really, any opportunity to reference Chell from Road to El Dorado is a good time, you know?
Behold, my golden Germanic castle.
Yes, there are people who've clocked it, but this running joke with the golden Germanic castle is very specifically a reference to Arrested Development. There is a moment in that show where David Cross's character is trying to get to the Gothic castle because he wants to perform there, and it's a magic show basically. But the taxi driver is English, and he hears Gothic castle, and he takes him to like a gay club. So yeah, it's very much aping that gag.
Dude, you can't just talk about your golden Germanic asshole. There's children present.
I wanted to make sure people understood that that was the joke in case they weren't familiar with Arrested Development, or I hadn't made it clear with the way Siegfried was saying it, because I kind of went back and forth between saying very specifically asshole and castle. I kind of tried to mix it a little bit, but it's difficult. It's difficult to sort of stay on stay in the middle.
My Germanic asshole is indestructible. Go ahead. Do whatever you want to my Germanic asshole.
It can take it.
Hang on. That card isn't supposed to be in circulation. It never left the prototype stage because it was so broken.
Here comes my favorite delivery in the episode from Siegfried right here at the beginning.
What is the meaning of this?
Yeah, Hekaiba.
I don't know why, but anytime Siegfried says yeah, I find that funny because he's just saying yes.
I secretly stole this card and hacked Kybercorp's mainframe in order to allow its use in the duel.
That sentence alone violates so many rules.
And you know what a stickler he is for those. I'm glad I got to do that gag because it is a variation on Screw the Rules I Have Money that is not Screw the Rules I Have Money. It's not even close to it. It's him saying, you know I like rules.
Use my Germanic castle, little brother. With its insurmountable influence, you are guaranteed to win and become the new king of the games.
Don't do it, Leon. You've been dreaming of defeating me in a duel, right? Where's the glory in doing so with someone else's card that makes you win automatically?
So about that Exodia victory you have over me.
Nope. That one still counts. Take it up with the judges that weren't there if you don't like it.
I just love how bitter they are at each other about it. The first episode, they're still pissed, both of them. Like, Yami's still proud of that win. That to me is the funniest part of the episode, is that them holding a grudge and stopping basically ignoring everything else that's happening to be like, that one win from 200 episodes ago. That's the best bit.
Don't listen to him, Leon. These friends of Kaiba just want to help him save face.
Yeah, he says they're friends of Kaiba in the actual dub as well. He's like, these friends of Kaiba. And I remember my reaction being like, wait, who? Who is his friends?
They don't really care about you.
Wait, who's my friend? What?
Yeah, wait, who are you talking about?
Nine.
Who are you talking about?
I don't want to be known as the little boy who usurped the title of King of Games using underhanded tactics.
It just looks like a big cardboard cutout of a castle, you know? I'm just saying, it does not look like it has any depth to it. I know it's a hologram and it's okay for it to look like that. But still, cardboard cutout of a golden castle.
I surrender.
It's not going to be that easy. I'm afraid if you surrender, the virus I put directly into my Germanic asshole will be impossible to stop.
For some reason, that specifically is the most upsetting golden castle gag, where he says he's put a virus. The virus I put directly into my Germanic asshole. Why did you do that, man? That's... Ugh.
You put a virus in the castle?
Ja, Herr Kaiba. Und as we speak, it is decimating your databanks.
I want to acknowledge, I talked about this on Blue Sky, but Arthur is fucking tiny. Look, Rebecca is in front of him, only by a tiny amount. He's so small. Also, somebody else pointed this out to me. He's behind Taya and Duke, but Taya's skirt is in front of him here, and then his feet are in front of her. What's happening, Arthur? I'm merging with the other dimension.
All your most confidential client information and company secrets are being wiped clean.
I love that Roland, you could see him back there listening to all of that, but there's no way you could hear any of it.
Well, that's pretty concerning.
And all of your dragon pornography is also being deleted.
Mokuba, we have to go.
But Seto, the duel.
This is a serious situation, Mokuba. I don't have time for children's games.
But that's usually all you have time for.
Mokuba, you'll understand when you're older, and hornier, and lonelier.
I want to say, that shot looks elaborate, and in my head it was going to be elaborate, but watch this.
You're older, and hornier, and lonelier.
The only flaps I added for that bit were for the when he says, and lonelier. His mouth is shut for that bit. Every other bit, the lip flaps matched my dialogue perfectly.
Games.
You watch
That's
this.
usually all you have time for.
Mokuba, you'll understand when you're older, and hornier, and lonelier.
Just one. Basically one line. One little and lonelier. 2 words. I was so relieved. I thought that was going to be a bastard. I thought that was going to be a bastard to edit. But it turned out he was very cooperative with his mouth. I shouldn't say that. Certainly not about Kaiba. Sorry.
We have to destroy that castle or Siegfried will destroy Kaiba Corp. Thanks to Siegfried's manipulation, it's immune to spells and traps.
I had Yugi say that because I kind of just dismissed the whole threat to Kaiba Corp. So I had to kind of bring it back and be like, what are the stakes at this point? Because at any point, Leon could just quit. And he even suggests that he quit. And he gets discouraged from doing so, mostly because of the virus, but also because of his dignity. But it really was hard to, like, in my own head, to justify why this duel was such like a big, like, oh no, Yami can't lose this one. So I had to have Yugi actually emphasize it.
Kinda makes you wonder why he didn't just change the card to have it say, I win the game when I play this.
That line there, it's kind of like putting a hat on a hat. I'd already kind of made the joke. But that's what everybody says. Everybody that talks to me about this whole plot point with the Golden Castle of Stromberg, they would always say to me, Siegfried could have just written, when this card is activated, you win. And he didn't. He just made the card really, 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 really difficult to get rid of. But he could have changed it to just be like, I win. So that was me being like, this is what everybody says. Yami Yugi should say it.
Maybe one of our monster effects would do the trick.
I was just thinking that. Or maybe you were saying it in my head and I heard you. Either way, I'll happily take the credit. Behold! Easily the straightest monster in my deck.
The Royal Straight Slasher!
By sacrificing monsters with star levels 1 through 5, I can activate his special effect.
Now, there was a time where I really, really wanted to remove this joke. Because it goes on for like a full minute. And the end of the joke is basically, it doesn't work. Not the joke doesn't work. The thing that he's doing doesn't work. it doesn't have any effect. But I felt the joke was good enough that it warranted it. And I think that that's true. I feel like there are people in the chat and in the comments that were like, I like this bit where Yami Yugi goes through all these cards. And I'm grateful for that, because there was a time where I was like, if anything had to get removed, it would be this. But I think I made the right choice in keeping it in.
1. Karibo, the loneliest monster that you'll ever do.
Hey.
2. Vindictive Magician. I have no idea what this is, and I'm pretty sure I've never used it.
It's true.
3. Giant Soldier of Stone.
This guy fucked up the moon once.
4. Big Shield Gardener. Taya Gardner's cousin or something.
Now you'll notice there, that was another line I re-recorded because it peaked somehow. And you'll note that the lip flaps aren't quite as good because I thought that the line matched okay, but if you listen to it, you can hear the difference.
4. Big Shield Gardener.
Now listen, you hear him there? That's not re-recorded. And then here, watch his lip flaps and listen to the voice. It sounds slightly different and it looks slightly worse.
Taya Gardner's cousin or something.
No relation.
And 5. Curse of Dragon. You can see me ride this one in the Season 1 intro, but I never actually do anything that cool.
Never.
Now I can activate Slasher's ability to destroy all cards my opponent controls.
That moment where Slasher does the sort of triple slash on the ground, moments like that, when I'm trying to find good sound effects, I'm like completely at a loss. What does a magic sword creating multiple beams of energy that shoot up into a castle, what does that sound like, you know? But yeah, no, I think it worked out in the end.
Unfortunately, no. It's immune to monster effects as well.
Come on, man. You let me go through all of that and now you tell me? I got rid of like a bunch of my cards. Like several of them. Not cool.
That's one of the... Honestly, that's almost one of the most shaken we've seen Yami Yugi. Like, hey, come on. He's usually like, I'm still very confident. But that moment where he uses like 5 cards to summon another card, he's like, hey.
I'm afraid you're going to keep losing them, as in order to keep my Germanic asshole active and regular, Yugi must discard half his deck at the start of every turn.
By the pointy parts of the pyramids.
Are there any other crazy rules with this castle you want to tell me about before we keep going?
He has no mouth in this sequence. I added that mouth to him. The pointy parts of the pyramids, I am always grateful when I get the opportunity to have Yami make a like sort of a by the Egyptian reference of the Egyptian reference. Like, anytime he gets to do that, and I think this was a very good one. He actually brought up the pyramids, which I usually just, I'm like, what's a god that he could sort of take their name in vain? But this time he was just like, by the pointy parts of the pyramids, and we got some cool alliteration there.
Oh dear, this golden castle truly does appear to be one of the strongest cards in all of Duel Monsters. Right, Solomon? It's okay, I guess. Oh, it's so depressing what's happening to him.
I just love Grandpa staring off into space, not acknowledging directly that he's being spoken to. It's okay, I guess. Hang on, I'm going to drink some water. Sagacious in the chat says, how did Yugi play Royal Straight Slasher before learning about Golden Castle's start of Yugi's turn effect? You've got me, I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I'm not the card game wizard. I'm not the king of the trading cards. This whole sequence, I was very happy with it when I wrote it. I had a very specific image of it in my head, and I think that it basically is as strong as I hoped it would be. This whole cyborg lesbians section. The episode was originally going to be titled, Do Cyborg Lesbians Dream of Holographic Sheep? And one, I thought the title was too long. And two, I thought that it would kind of ruin the joke, because the first time you hear the phrase cyborg lesbians, it should be here.
Listen up, cyborg lesbians. There's a virus attacking Kaiba Corp's database, and I need you identical women to take care of it.
Don't know why Mr. Kaiba insists on calling us cyborgs. We're just normal, identical women who all work at the same place.
For those of you asking, this is my partner as well. This is Marin voicing both of these cyborgs, these lesbians. These ladies...
Do love me some Minge, though. Yes, Minge is pretty great.
Mokuba, I need you to set up a secure digital perimeter in order to contain the virus and
He's speaking gibberish here. I don't even know what he's talking about. I just wrote words.
protect our primary data systems.
Is it okay if I just play Roblox?
Sure.
Yeah, Roblox.
Let's go, cyborg lesbians!
I want to go back and talk about some of this editing I did here. Oh no. Oh god, I've just clocked that there is a problem. Oh no, how did I not see this? Am I...
There's a
Oh no. It's very visible to me now. And I'm sure it's visible to you now. There's a line. Oh no, I was so proud. You see it right now, yeah? I was going to talk about the editing and how... I was going to say seamless it was, but there's a very specific seam. You guys see that, right? I wish I'd seen this. This is very annoying, but you know, it's not the worst. It is there, and it's noticeable. The reason there's a line there, which is very frustrating, is because I cut this shot into two. Ah. Very frustrating. I cut this shot into two because the footage of the lesbians, the footage of these ladies, I needed to play at regular speed, but then the footage of the stuff in the background, the screens, is slowed down. And I'm going to let it play out, and I'm going to try not to look at that line because I somehow didn't see it the several times I've watched this.
cyborg lesbians. There's a
You'll notice that the cyborgs are typing at regular speed and the screens are actually moving rather slowly. In fact, a good way of noticing it, aside from looking at the very obvious line that's right there, that is very annoying to me now. I'm so pissed. Look at this screen versus how this screen is moving. Like, these two screens are basically showing the same thing, but they're moving at very different speeds. Vickerfly, you're a master at this. No! I'm a master at fucking it up, apparently.
virus attacking Kaiba Corp's database, and I need
See that? You see that slow?
identical women to take care of it.
It's very slow. But I needed the footage to not look shit. And now it does look shit because of that line.
I don't know why Mr. Kaiba insists on calling us cyborgs. We're just normal, identical women who all work at the same place. Do love me some Minge, though. Yes, Minge is pretty great.
Mokuba, I need you to set up a secure digital perimeter in order to contain the virus and protect our primary data systems.
Is it okay if I just play Roblox?
Sure.
Yeah, Roblox.
Let's go, cyborg.
It's still there. Oh, I'm very annoyed. I genuinely, I'm like, I wish I could re-release the episode.
Or lesbians.
And now, I transfer Cinderella's glass slippers to the Dark Magician Girl.
Is this helping you win the game?
I have no idea, but it's giving me very new and interesting feelings.
Now, in the original, obviously, putting the glass slippers on the Dark Magician Girl does do something. But for the purposes of a joke, it's just check out the Dark Magician Girl's feet. There's her feet and her legs.
Now that Leon's turn is conclusioned, it's time for you to pay the paper and send half your deck to the grave.
Sorry, can't.
Only got one card left.
Sprechen Sie what?
Yeah, seems I'm unable to discard half my deck when there's only a single card left. Which means your Germanic castle is now wiped. Clean off the field.
You know what? It's more acceptable that it looks like a cardboard cutout now because it is kind of a skinny little castle hologram. It's more of a backdrop than an actual castle, isn't it?
Oh, if I had only taken basic mathematics into account.
Someone in the chat, Silver Hyozanryu asks, out of curiosity, did you not want to cover the Kaiba Siegfried duel? I did. And I did. Did it feel like I didn't want to cover it? I tried my best to cover it rather effectively. The problem was that it honestly felt like, I'll be honest, I originally was going to combine episodes 87 and 88 into one single episode, so if the Kaiba Siegfried duel suffers because of that, I apologize. But no, I tried to give it the old college try, yeah. If you didn't see the episode, it's episode 88.
Now that the castle is kaput, I must surrender and make things right.
Leon, no. You owe it to yourself. to continue this duel.
But you only have one card.
Whatever happens next, I would rather face it head-on than shy away from it.
I'm kind of being kind of real here with Yami Yugi. It's just a feeling, you know, I'm not trying to convey anything super serious in the show, but this is a feeling that I've had in the past, and in the present, about various things in my life where it's like, you have to be willing to lose. You have to be willing to fail. But you can't just shy away from these things. You can't just back away from it. You can't just operate on fear, because then you will never live life to your fullest. You'll never know what you're capable of. So when Yami says this, it's kind of me being really sincere and speaking through him to everybody. But obviously, this is all leading to Yami Yugi just immediately destroying Leon right afterwards, which is really funny to me. Like, I think that's probably the second funniest part of the episode, which is him giving this really emotional, inspiring speech to try and get Leon to continue the duel. And then when the duel continues, he just immediately wins.
Even if it means losing. But if you surrender, you'll always be asking yourself if you deserved victory against me. Part of you will always wonder if you could have been the king of games. So please, Leon, for the sake of your dignity and self-respect, let's keep playing.
All right, I will.
Very good. Now I special summon my ace card, Dark Magician, and you...
Listen very carefully here. I don't know how many people have noticed this, but if you know the old Dark Magician joke, there's a little bit of a song playing behind him when he appears. I don't know how many of you caught it, but listen very carefully.
Use diffusion wave motion to let him attack all your monsters one by freaking one.
Yeah. And that monster that just died, she's really hot. I don't remember the name of the monster. She's a very specific monster that Leon summons, and she's really hot. And the noise that she makes there in my version is a clip from Soul Calibur of Ivy expressing pain. Ivy, one of my favorite video game ladies, certainly my favorite Soul Calibur character. Hey, Hextrude, she's hot, whatever she is. But yes, if those of you who are paying attention and know the song that was playing behind Dark Magician was indeed Magical Trevor, number 5. And it's going, Magical Trevor's back from his hiatus.
Yeah, G-G-E-Z.
Dark Magician, no diff. I don't know if Yami Yugi uses that correctly. I've been playing Marvel Rivals on and off, and every so often someone says, blank, no diff. And I'm like, what? What does that mean? And I've had it explained to me, and I don't know still what it means. Something no diff. I assume it means it was easy. It was not difficult. Right? So Dark Magician made it not difficult, is what I assume he's saying.
Yugi, it's an honor to lose to you. I've been dreaming of losing to you.
Since you were born a few minutes ago, yes.
Now hand over your rarest card.
I don't think that's a rule in this tournament.
Who said anything about rules?
I want that castle. Gimme.
Oh, Yugi,
There. Is this help? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Am I saying the right things?
Yami Yugi there, kind of inspired by... I'm not meaning to call them out, but they acknowledged it when they were reading the script. My partner, whenever they attempt to comfort me when I'm upset, is kind of like this a little bit. And they do their best. And they're very sweet, and they're very genuine, and they're very supportive. But there are moments when they're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be saying. Not in that voice. But I kind of attributed that onto Yami Yugi here, because I think it's a really great moment that he doesn't say anything in the original episode, but I can imagine the Pharaoh being like, what's happening? Oh, yeah, it's okay.
I don't care that you lost, Leon. I still took my vengeance upon Sheto Kaiba. It will take years to replace all of the data my virus has corrupted.
Nope. Turns out I had all that dragon porn on a separate hard drive.
That nope that you hear him say, that is also a re-recorded line, because much like the grab, this was a line I couldn't tell if it was funnier said in a certain way. So originally it was just nope, and it wasn't funny. So I was like, he has to go like nope.
and on another backup hard drive. And it's all on my phone. Point is, everything is okay.
But what of all this sensitive data related to your company?
Cyborg lesbians took care of it.
What?
You heard me.
That's another exchange why I considered re-recording Kaiba's lines because I couldn't tell if his kind of deadpan delivery made that funnier or not, or if he needed to say it in a sort of goofier way, but I think cyborg lesbians took care of it. Very throwaway is funny, and then you heard me. That's a good way of ending that little moment. There could have been a much bigger sort of send-off for Siegfried, but as a character, I think that everybody else was kind of more important to give a send-off to. Siegfried, we're done with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to announce that this filler arc is finally and mercifully over. Now please vacate the premises without flinging your feces at any of the employees. That's not for anybody specific, but I am looking at you, Abe the Monkey Man.
Yeah, I needed to give a shout out to Abe the Monkey Man one last time. We never really got to know him, but there was a lot of implications about him and throwing poop at people. And I figured that, you know, he should get one last little shout out to Abe the Monkey Man. And the airport, yeah, for those of you who don't realize, this whole tournament has been taking place in America, as Bandit Keith would say. So the characters have to fly home to Japan now. Or the sort of non-specific Japan-America that they live in the dub.
Going home to Domino City, baby!
I call it Dummy Mommy City, on account of all the sadistic women who live there.
I'm going to work on getting some new theme music that won't get immediately flagged by YouTube every single time.
May I recommend...
Bow, bow, trip, trippy trigger! Now, it took... What is that Duke face? Holy shit! Sorry, I didn't... Pausing it there, how serendipitous. Rewatching the old episodes in the streams, I didn't realize that I'd already used the bow, bow, that for Bandit Keith fan service. So technically, Joey would be stealing that song from Bandit Keith, or Duke would be stealing that song from Bandit Keith if he were to use that. Duke, gosh, your face, you've got a very long face going on there.
I was actually thinking about a cover of Blurred Lines.
We'll blur your lines.
Joke's on you, I'm into this shit.
Blurred lines are all I ever see in my vision tests, but I refuse to tell the optometrist.
I wrote that joke without thinking what it implied about his relationship with his optometrist, because in my head I was like, oh, he just doesn't say that he can't see, so the optometrist believes him that he can see. But he needs to actually read the letters. He needs to actually demonstrate that he can see in order for the optometrist to believe him. So he says he refuses to tell the optometrist. So in other words, he goes in, he looks at the chart, and he just doesn't say anything. And the optometrist is like, what does this say? And Arthur's like, not telling you.
The moral of the filler arc is, even when the tournament isn't remotely important to the plot, Joey still isn't allowed to win.
It's a sad truth, and that is a running thing that the fandom sort of acknowledges, which is Joey never gets his moment of triumph. He never gets his moment in the spotlight, which is a real shame. Everybody loves Joey, and everybody wants Joey to win. And unfortunately, what Grandpa's saying is true. Even when the plot doesn't matter, even when he could win and it wouldn't change anything, he doesn't win, and it sucks. It's a shame. That's why I'm like, why is Leon the one dueling Yami Yugi?
Now get ready for the exciting filler arc about Grandpa and Arthur, where we drive race cars and solve crimes. Let's go, partner. Oh no, my spin-off potential.
Now, this kind of works as a reference to the fact that Capsule Monsters, the spin-off series that was commissioned by 4Kids, is not technically canon, takes place here, right after this. This is where Capsule Monsters is supposed to happen. I personally don't consider Capsule Monsters to be canon, but if there is anywhere for the spin-off to go, it's here. So in my mind, I wish that these two guys had the spin-off and they got to go off on an adventure together. I know Grandpa is involved in Capsule Monsters, but I would much rather see Grandpa and Arthur go off on adventures together. They're my favorite.
Not the first time I've watched your back get blown out, Solomon.
Yes, I'm a total slut.
Well, Rebecca, pretty sure this is your last appearance, so in order to pay off all our romantic tension, I'm gonna offer you the cold bucket of water that is this handshake.
Come here, you.
Yeah, she touched my blurbo.
That's another re-record. One of the last lines I re-recorded. In the original version, she just sort of went, "She touched my blurbo." Kind of very, not like bland, not like bored, but very sort of thrown away. But I saw the expression that she's pulling, and I was like, oh, she needs to be like very upset about the fact that her blurbo is being touched. Rebecca here is voiced, like I said, a lot of voice actors who work on my show, they don't want to be credited for various reasons because of how it might affect their perception in the industry. But Rebecca here is being voiced by a very, very talented person, a very good friend of mine, but they're going by Juicy Flanagan here, and I was very grateful that they got to jump in and play Rebecca here. Rebecca's been played by like 4 or 5 different people. I kind of consider the role to be cursed somewhat, but the character is still, in my opinion, very wonderfully portrayed, and I'm very grateful for everybody who's played her in the past.
I may not have my evil teddy bear, but I'm still a little devil.
Okay, so can we please have this bitch exorcised?
Since that was Rebecca's kind of last moment in the show, I needed to acknowledge that she had an evil teddy bear, because that's the thing that everybody kind of associates her with in the abridged version. And she hasn't had it. Like, I always was considering editing the teddy bear into shots with her, but it just felt like it was going to be a whole ordeal. Every time she came back, I was going to have to stick the teddy bear in there. And I wanted the character to be able to stand by herself, you know, so...
Hey, my big brother says he hopes you enjoy your all-expenses-paid flight on a jumbo jet with first-class service and nothing but empty seats. Oh, that's actually really nice of him. Ha! It's sarcasm. He knows you won't enjoy it because the plane doesn't look like a dragon. Sucks to be you guys. Ha! Kaiba wasn't fooling. This really is a first-class jumbo jet.
That's kind of a difficult shot to edit the lip flaps onto, as you can imagine. It's not like the hardest thing because he's only traveling on a sort of a horizontal line. But yeah, no, I worked real hard to make Joey's dialogue match the face here.
Kaiba wasn't fooling. This really is a first-class jumbo jet. Can't believe he thought we wouldn't like it. You know, I do kind of wish it looked like a dragon.
That's right, Yugi. Now you'll always know how disappointing it is to fly a plane that isn't dragon-shaped. At long last, my revenge is complete.
I do think that Kaiba believes that his revenge is complete, that he doesn't have a grudge against Yugi anymore, because everything that happened leading up to this was by his design, and so now he's even. I just think it's really funny that he's that petty, and he doesn't even know that Yugi's disappointed. Yugi's on a plane, but he's watching the plane, and he knows within his soul that Yugi is disappointed, that the plane is not a dragon.
There's a hot chick in this movie, and that's all anybody brings up.
I want to acknowledge I actually forgot somebody's name on the Patreon pledgers there. They messaged me actually during the stream, and I've responded to them. I'm going to add their name into the description and, as if I can, into the YouTube, at least as like a pop-up thing. But Liam McNaught, I'm so sorry for forgetting to put your name there. I thought I added everybody. But apparently there were some people that I didn't, at least one person that I didn't get on there. That's my bad entirely. But yes, happy 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, guys. That's cray-cray. I really can't get over it. I really can't. I'm flabbergasted by it. That's something we say in England. I don't live there anymore, but I still say things. But yeah, no, I'm really, really happy about how that episode came out. I actually I'm always, there are people in the comments that are always like, how do you keep this, you know, consistently funny? And, you know, obviously humor is subjective. I always want to acknowledge that, you know, not everybody thinks that way. But I do think that, for me, I'm personally impressed that I'm still enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm still laughing at my own jokes, you know, which, you know, maybe I shouldn't be doing so much, but I'm really genuinely, like, I believe that Season 5 so far and Season 4 has been some of my strongest stuff. I spent a lot of time trying to make sure that I didn't just half-ass it. I spent a lot of time refining the gags, and I spent a lot of time working on the editing, even though there's that one giant line through the center of the shot in Kaiba's cyborg lesbian room. I'm really happy with how the episodes look and sound. I think that the show still has a place on the internet, which I just don't understand why. I don't know how. I like to think it's just because this kind of thing, these characters and this kind of a show being lampooned this way, it's inherently funny. Like, there's just something very funny about these over-the-top characters yelling about card games. And at this point, the adventure has kind of taken on a life of its own in the parody. And I'm really excited and intimidated by the fact that we are now through that filler arc and we're onto the final sort of section of the show. We're onto the Millennium World Egypt stuff, which I've dreamed about. There was a time, like, when I started the show, I was like, wouldn't it be cool one day, years from now, to get to the ancient Egypt stuff? What will that be like? And now I'm fucking here, and I have to actually accomplish it. It's gonna be wild. I don't know how it's gonna go. I know guys like Team 4-Star are very, they are very exhaustive with being sort of, they have an idea of what they're doing. They have a very specific idea of what they're doing and how things are going to play out. Obviously, they do improvise here and there and, roll with the punches depending on what the show throws at them. But I personally am a person who just sort of wings it most of the time when it comes to writing. And I tend to find that most of the time that's when my strongest stuff is produced. So I'm going into ancient Egypt kind of by the seat of my pants and just seeing how things go and letting it sort of have a life of its own and letting things fall as they do. I don't have any specific ideas for, like, Bobassa. Like, people frequently come to me and say, what are you going to do with Bobassa? I don't know what I'm going to do with Bobassa. Honestly, it's kind of scary because he is such a weird character. What do you do with that guy? Like, he's kind of already kind of a gag, but not a gag that I find funny, so what do we do with that? And then Zork is going to show up, Anyway, we've watched the new episode. Thank you for spending time watching that with me. I honestly think it's one of the strongest in season 5 so far. I got to the end of editing it and I was laughing and still chuckling and thinking this is a good one. So when that happens, that tends to be one of my stronger episodes, and I think that it stands up in the season as one of the better ones. So I'm really hyped that we ended the filler arc on a high note. Let me drink some water, and then I'm going to read some of these super chats. See, Wonder Girl, the problem is, I don't think that would require me to drag it out. I think that there's like at least 24 more episodes, and it would be difficult to squeeze all of that into 11 episodes. Maybe I could, I just don't see it happening. We'll see, though. Obviously, with the lack of card games, it kind of changes how the whole thing is going to be structured. All right, let me read these super chats. And for those of you asking in the chat, I see MCA Prince and a few other people asking about Shardy. I talked about him on the stream last week, I think. It was either last week or the week before. I was in the middle of editing this video, so it's all kind of a blur. But no, he will not be Borat when he comes back. I've talked about it pretty extensively on the stream where we watched that episode. So if you want, go back a couple of streams on my YouTube and see everything I had to say about that. But to summarize it, I want the jokes in the show to be about Yu-Gi-Oh! For the most part, especially the jokes that come from the characters. So, even though I still have things like Rex and Weevil being Beavis and Butthead, because that personally is funny to me, Shardy as Borat, it had its time. I don't think bringing it back is going to be funny. I think it would be funnier to make jokes about the plot and the show and the characters. So, Shardy as Borat, unfortunately, is something that I'm going to move on from, and he's not going to do that when he comes back. I know that's going to be disappointing, and I know I said I was summarizing this, but I'm kind of just going over it again. But there will be acknowledgement of the fact that he was Borat. There will be a reference to that. All right, let me read some of these super chats. Brrr. Sorry, there's so many of them. I'm laughing. But there is a lot of them. There's so many. I'm scrolling. There's too many. Hang on, I will get through them. I'll do my best. I might not I'm gonna be honest, I might not be able to get through all of them because my voice is a bit shot, but I'll do my best to get through them as best I can. Ore Otaku, thank you for the super chat. Little Karibo, the guy who watches Yu-Gi-Oh! Embarrassed his parents don't listen to Devo. He starts crying at Finding Nemo, then he makes a lame video and everyone yells, whoa! Those are lyrics. I don't know if they still hold up. My parents don't listen to Devo, but I'm not embarrassed by them. Brit Yuzuki and Nishinari, thank you for the super chat. Good work on the new episode and hello from the Kansai region. Oh, hey. Very cool. Shout out to Kansai. Something 930, thank you for the super chat. Hey Martin, congrats on 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged and for getting through the final filler arc. I loved the new episode, and episode 5 was the first YouTube video I ever saw. I've never heard that, actually. I've never heard that one of my videos was the first YouTube video somebody watched. That's crazy. Imagine. That's a rare thing to hear these days, just that there was a first video somebody watched. I feel like YouTube is just ingrained in modern culture to that point where it's hard to... I can't remember what the first one I watched was. Scar DDT, thank you for the super chat, and thank you for being a huge part of my life, is what you've said. Thank you for being part of my life. Thank you for being part of your life as well. Itamar Strauss, thank you. I have a question for Hank Ishtar. Oh, I don't know if I can do the voice. My voice is a bit short, but I'll do my best. Is Marek Sebastian Ishtar II your father, and why did the name skip a generation? Marek Sebastian Ishtar II is like 5 guys back. You have to keep going. We skipped like several generations because I just didn't care for it. But then I was like, look at this baby. I'm going to call it Marek Sebastian Ishtar III, just to be difficult. I can't do the voice right now. I'm sorry. Ed MG7, thank you for the super chat. New Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge made me Google British slang. You Googling Minge, that's a dangerous game. We are going to see more of the anniversary streams. Yes, Upside Cloud. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I know I had to skip a few because I was working on the video. Pelly, thank you for the super chat. If full activation of the Winged Dragon of Ra requires reciting a chant only Egyptian nobility can read, would that be elite ball knowledge? Yes. Absolutely. Prunky, thank you for the super chat. Hey, LK, love the new episode. It's crazy that Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged is old and young enough to reference stuff like has-been. It is weird, right? Maybe the has-beens were the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge that we made along the way. FSM Gauss, thank you for the super chat. Showed my best friend an India all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Somehow he didn't realize who Apnarg was for so many episodes. He'd love if a Bridge characters talked about it. I might not be able to do so many voices right now, guys. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to have to cut it on the voices, but if it's an easy voice, I might do it, but I just don't have the time or the energy right now. I'm sorry. I know that you guys come to me for silly voices. Adam Lombardo, thank you for the super chat. So next year, Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge will be legal to drink. What will its first drink be? A pan-galactic gargle blaster from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh, Mystic Panda in the chat. Shout out to Adelaide AvCon. Oh my gosh, I had a great time at AvCon. Thank you for making me feel so welcome. Radlum, thank you for the super chat. 20 years ago, I was getting distracted from law school exams by watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Now I'm getting distracted from actual lawyer work by watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Thanks for all the laughs. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for lawyering up for those of us who can't. And I hope that the laughter is helping you through what I imagine are stressful times as a lawyer. Thank you for that. Telling Star, thank you for the super chat. Loved the episode, LK. My partner spit her drink out with laughter when she heard the joke about robot lesbians loving Minge. That certainly is a highlight for a lot of people. Just AJ, thank you. I'd say even before you started the KC Grand Prix, I've been expecting a foot fetish joke from you in Yugi vs. Leon. I was not disappointed today. I mean, yeah, I guess it was hard not to make the joke. The camera pans down onto the Dark Magician Girl's feet. I feel like I'm justified in acknowledging that this happens. Aaron Jordan, thank you. Has Frieza hit Space Mexico yet? No. We're still working on that. We're working our way slowly down to Space Mexico. Kelsey, thank you for the super chat, and I think I answered this one. It was the thing for Dusk, and I hope that helped Dusk feel a bit better. Thank you for asking, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for supporting. Bizarre Thought Patterns, thank you for the super chat. Hey, just finished the newest episode. Quick question, when you finish abridging the entire series, have you considered the movies? Dark Side of Dimensions especially. Yes, Dark Side of Dimensions, absolutely. I think I've abridged the other movies. But yes, Dark Side of Dimensions abridged, definitely what I would like to do for a finale. I'm sorry, Desmond, about the lack of preview. I don't usually do a preview for the next episode at the end of the episode, but I understand people were hoping to see a bit of Bakura. Dr. Leo, thank you. Did you feel similar burnout to Team 4-Star? If yes, how do you work through it and find the motivation to continue Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged? I mean, I felt burnout in regards to just being on the internet, if I'm being honest. But as far as Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged goes, I still, like I said, I still love making the show. I still really enjoy working on it, and I still love making the jokes. I still laugh at my own jokes. If I'm being entirely honest, it's not so much... I don't think we'll watch another episode today, Hans. I'm sorry. It's been like 3 hours almost, and my voice is almost shot here. I'm sorry. I'll probably have to call it after these super chats. It's not so much that I experienced burnout. I'm going to be very honest and not really go too deep into this, but I didn't experience burnout so much as I experienced trauma, and it all kind of came to a head in like 2019 or so. You can kind of notice that the episodes start coming out much slower, and I started having, a lot more trouble staying consistent around 2019 or so. And there's a lot of stuff in my personal life that kind of was a reason for that, but it's really not so much burnout. It's kind of just, I don't know how to really express what I'm trying to say, but if I can say something, it's that I don't think I'm alone as a content creator in feeling that over a long period of time, long term, this stuff kind of, it takes its toll. It sort of, you find yourself carrying a very heavy load when a lot of the times, a lot of us, certainly back when I started, jumped into this just sort of for funsies, I just sort of started doing this for a laugh. And these days, especially in the last decade or so, just having an audience and just being a known person on the internet, there's really been no guidelines for it. There's been no sort of like, here's how you do this. I've just sort of been flying by the seat of my pants a lot of the time, which, has come back to bite me in a lot of ways. But I recognize it in a lot of other creators. A lot of other creators that I know and that I see online are dealing with shit. They're dealing with stress, and they're dealing with depression, and they're dealing with anxiety about how all this works and who they are in the grand scheme of it. And I often liken it to sort of being on a roller coaster ride, which is really, really fun, but it keeps getting faster and it becomes more elaborate as you go, and you're holding on to the rail for like dear life, to the point that I've been white knuckling all of this for like years. So not so much burnout, but a lot of trauma associated with a lot of this stuff that I try not to let it keep me from working, but it does happen. Therapy obviously has been helpful, seeking support from medical professionals, from people close to me in my life that understand what I'm going through. Just trying not to keep these problems to myself and work through them by myself. That's really that's really not a solution, but that's the way I've been handling it. Anyway, thank you so much for asking, and thank you for the support. I hope that was a decent answer, but no, I don't think what I've experienced has been anything like what I've gone through with what Team 4-Star has gone through, Tiger Man, it's Shy Eye. Thank you for the super chat. Yu-Gi-Oh! Singapore dub. Try searching for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Odex dub on the Internet Archive. Well, there you go. There's your answer. Coach John Pliskin in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are 25 episodes left after what Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge just covered. Yes, it's crazy. Tiger Man, thank you for the super chat. What made you decide to change my voice in season 4? I think I answered this one. But the answer is, I didn't like voicing her. Nick Van Steertigum. Thank you for the super chat. In just a few months, the vengeance will rise, right, Zork and or Cody? Zork, Zack, and or Cody? CV Elitist, thank you for the super chat. Unrelated to Yu-Gi-Oh! I discovered you and your show around the time you got into Kamen Rider, and I wanted to ask what your favorite shows were. I love Kamen Rider Blade, I love Kamen Rider O's, I love Kamen Rider Gav, I love Kamen Rider Ryuki, I love Kamen Rider Build, I love the OG Kamen Rider, I love Kamen Rider Black and Black RX. Those are all really good. Fem Funtime, love your name. Thank you for the super chat. Did you voice train for the cyborg lesbians? I think I talked about this before, but no, I didn't voice them. That was my partner Marin. I wish I could sound that good. Nick again. Nick Van Steertigum, thank you again for the super chat.
Today's Christmas. First, Zack and Cody's Mouse Overlord dropped a new X-Men 97 episode, and when I watched that, I starred in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
Oh, you're talking about Mickey Mouse. Now I know what you're talking about. My Windows did something. Adam Lombardo, thank you for the super chat. I love how technical difficulties result in a ton of relevant references to the show in chat. Yes, you guys were having fun with that. I appreciate that. Of course, Will. I would not run off like that in any circumstance. To acknowledge it once again, you guys helped us out a great deal when we were almost at risk of losing our house, and all of the money that you've given us is going directly into keeping the house, the upkeep, the repairs that need doing, but it's all specifically for help with the house. I'm not using that money for any other purposes. I obviously really appreciate everything you guys gave, and I don't want to ever take that for granted. Birdie, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for 20 years of sharing your love of Yu-Gi-Oh! I started collecting the Dutch translation of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga. It's very non-localized and literal, so I get to experience another version of this story. Oh, that's awesome. Do you plan to finish season 1 of Naruto Abridged? Asks Marvel Lover. It's not something I'm planning on, but I would really like to do it. I would love to return to the Naruto spoof at some point. Never say never. Marnix, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for getting me into YouTube 19 years ago. Whoa, thank you for getting into YouTube. Nick Van Steertigum, thank you again. And you've got another series of lines for me. I'll do my best for you. No, you should be willing to throw the one who invented the stairs down these stairs. Kaiba, honey, you invented these stairs. Screw the elevators, I have stairs. Samuel Benoit, thank you so much for the super chat. Are you continuing Capsule Monsters anytime soon? Not soon, but I would like to return to it. I'd like to return to a lot of my side videos once Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, the main series, is done. Partially, can I be honest, partially because fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, I try really hard to live up to people's expectations. Things like Naruto spoof, I feel like once I'm done with Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, I won't feel so inclined to be like, this has to be good. I'll be more like, this can be whatever I want it to be. But I'd like to focus on Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged first and foremost. Odo the Doll 2. I made a Siegfried compilation when the first episode of this arc came out, and now I can make the complete edition. Oh, hell yeah. I hope to see it. Solar Regis, thank you for the super chat. Wasn't Hoodwinked directed by Harvey Weinstein? I don't think he was a director. But I'm going to look that up for you. I don't believe he ever directed anything. Who directed Hoodwinked? Hoodwinked. It was directed by Corey Edwards, who is known for directing... Hang on. Oh no, he's best known for directing Hoodwinked. And co-writing and voice acting in Hoodwinked. This guy's, his whole identity is Hoodwinked. Alright. Tidy Wire. Oh, hang on. Makimaru, thank you for the super chat. Hoodwinked is both one of the most brilliant movies ever written and a crime against animation. Maybe Yami is just a stickler for good animation. Yeah, probably Yami Yugi watched the trailer and was like, that looks bad. Tidy Wire, love to see you in the chat, and thank you for the support. Rewatched the whole arc ahead of the new episode, and you can pinpoint the exact moment you got into Kamen Rider. Yeah, there's a few moments in the show's run time where you can pinpoint the moment that I started doing certain things. Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate it. Lady Logan, are you good? Are you all right in the chat? I saw you say whelp. I just want will you return to Twitch after watching the episodes here? I'm going to be entirely honest. I wanted to dual stream. I wanted to do Twitch streams and YouTube streams, but I saw recently that Twitch is going to start scrubbing streams with AI stuff. It's going to start scrubbing streams to put into their AI. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but it gives me pause. And I know I'm a Karibo. I'm supposed to have pause, but I'd like to be able to stream to both, but I'm worried about, you know, any kind of endorsement of whatever Twitch is doing with AI. And I know YouTube is likely to do something similar. I'm going to do my best to avoid, you know, letting my stuff be filtered into AI if I can help it. As Your Wolf, thank you for the super chat. Honestly, that whole Kaiba F-bomb thing is funnier with him explaining it. I do agree. I think it's really funny that Kaiba has to explain why he could swear. Oh, you were saying whelp at the hoodwinked bit. Oh, I'm sorry, Lady Logan. The Popcorn Fairy, thank you for the super chat. Cats are watching the stream with me. Kepler and Vega say hi to the King of Games. Hi, Kepler and Vega. Kitties. TG Qwerty, thank you for the super chat. His golden Germanic castle really is magnificent to behold in person. Kristen Kemp, thank you so much for the super chat. Would actually find it hilarious if Kaiba needed a translator for Siegfried, but not because he's German, but because he doesn't speak loser. That would have been a good joke, honestly. That's true, Bolt Lightning Honeypot. I hadn't even considered that. That's kind of a sad truth. Austin Sanchez, thank you. You take care. Justy Guy. Oh, sorry. Void Stalker Zero. Thank you for the super chat. I've loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge since I was a kid. Have some money, please. Oh, well, thank you so much for the support, and thank you for watching the show for so long. I don't know if you should have been watching it as a kid, but thank you for doing it regardless. Your secret's safe with me. Justy Guy. Thank you. The grandpas are giving me the Notebook vibes. Oh, their love has seen better days. I think that they're still thriving. I think they're still a beautiful couple. They just have a few problems that every old person would have. Joe Ferry, thank you for the super chat. With episode 89 out of the way, the final filler arc in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is finally over, and we can finally get to the true final arc in the show. You're finally right. Finally, we're there at the final hurdle of the finals. Thanks, Joe. It was good to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for the support. You've been very supportive. Monster King 97, thank you for the super chat. Joey, Waterpon is like Exodia on steroids, man. It's like big Exodia. It's like big Zodia. Bro, who cares? Thank you for the super chat. Bum chicka bum chicka bum bum bum. Bum he is Duke. Bum chicka bum chicka bum bum bum. I just like that you said the word bum so much. I like bum. I'm a big fan of bum. I'm not bumming around the bum. Thank you, Channel of Interest. You're very kind. I hope that we can provide a lot more of that for you. Chef Circuit, thank you for the super chat. Missed opportunity to say the Disney Castle card. Yes, I saw you say this in the chat at the time. Makimaru, thank you for the super chat. El Dorado is one of my favorite movies. I was so happy you referenced it. I like the movie. I tend to think that it's very top-heavy. I don't know if this makes sense to you guys, but I feel like all the parts that people remember and that are good in that movie are from like the first 30 minutes, and then the rest of it is kind of forgettable. But I think it's beautifully animated and wonderfully performed, and I totally see why people like it. Fem Funtime, thank you again. I think you've already asked this. No, I did not voice train for the Cyborg Lesbians, and I apologize that you had to send a super chat multiple times then. Droopy, Little Karibo, why does it hurt when I think? Well, you should stop doing it. I couldn't tell you why, but you should stop doing it. Stop all that thinking. Bro, who cares? Thank you for the super chat. Heil Kaiba, I missed the German Kaiba Corp assistant. I mean, I understand why you might miss that. Personally, I felt like it was, an old joke, like everybody's made the ha 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 Germans are Nazis joke. Second of all, I kind of felt like it was going to step on the toes of Siegfried when he showed up. Like, how are you going to explain why there's basically two characters that are just like German jokes? But yeah, I feel you. I understand why you feel that way. I personally have moved on from it, but Carlos S., thank you for the super chat. Exodia takes 5 cards. The Golden Castle is pure cheap. It's pretty cheap, yeah. Gay Boy Tano, thank you. Hey, LK, it's Kurika. I wanted to say congrats on the new episode. Thank you, Kurika Kakakaka. Been a fan since the beginning and still a fan forever of your genius. Oh, well, you're very kind. I don't think I'd ever consider myself a genius. But thank you for being a fan. Buddhabot, thank you for the super chat. The Super Buddha. I've been watching Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters episodes on YouTube, and I got such a rush now hearing the battle music in this episode. Yes, I think this is the first time I've ever used Passionate Duelist for the bit where Yugi is using all the different cards. I was really excited to get to use it, and I'm very glad that YouTube allowed me to use it without muting any of it. But yeah, no, it's really exciting whenever that song plays in the actual anime. So getting to have it in the show for what felt like an appropriate moment, because it's very focused on Yami, Yugi, and the card game. And it just feels like it's been a long time coming, you know? Adam Lombardo, thank you for the super chat. The law says the controller was supposed to pay all of the costs for the Golden Castle of Stromberg, but Siegfried changed it to the opponent. Yes, yeah, I think you're right. I think that's probably what that is. I honestly didn't really look into what the castle did. I just acknowledged that it was very powerful. Long Hill Andy, you can hear my voice getting crackly, I'm sorry. Long Hill Andy, thank you for the super chat. I thought it was just a crack on my phone screen. Well, let's just say that's what it is. I'm so annoyed that line is there. I'm so upset. Anyone who's good at editing is going to look at that and be like, what is this idiot doing? Imp Brush, thank you for the super chat. Tell your partner the cyborg lesbians were great. I will. Brad Shoemaker, thank you for the super chat. Blue Seam White Kyber. That's one of the most powerful cards in Duel Monsters. I suppose you could call it a seam. Seems legit. Yes, Juicy Flanagan, I see people talking about in the chat. Juicy Flanagan is a name that is collectively used by a bunch of voice actors. I don't know if they've ever used it outside of parodies, but that name is non-specific. It isn't one person. It's used by, I want to say, a dozen different people at this point. Crusher M33, thank you for the super chat. Ooh, Kaiba Boy is my fave line. Or are you saying that Kaiba Boy had a line on him? I don't know. I don't know what you're saying, but it's fun to say as Pegasus. Hell yeah, Kenny McConnell. Great seeing you in the chat. Thank you. Faust 16. Faust 16, thank you for the super chat. Fun fact, if you were a German... Oh, hang on. Sorry, I've missed one. Adam Lombardo, thank you for the super chat. Failing makes you genuinely appreciate successes. That's true. I'm sure that's a response to what Yami Yugi was saying in the episode, and yes, it's true. Crusher, thank you for the super chat. You'll be using the Zork and Pals intro for the Egypt arc. I don't know about that. Maybe for one of them. Maybe for the one where Zork shows up. Faust 16, I'm sorry, I started your super chat and I got distracted. Fun fact, if you were German, there is a very obvious reference to make this episode because Stromberg is the name of the German version of The Office. I did actually know that, but I don't know enough about that version of The Office to make a reference to it. But you know, I could have played The Office theme. I could have had Dwight show up and complain. Maybe this whole thing was a prank by Jim, this whole Yu-Gi-Oh thing. Dragonberry Mead, thank you for the super chat. Once again, cyborg lesbians solve everything. Yes, cyborg lesbians are the Yu-Gi-Oh equivalent of A Wizard Did It. Jay Alarcon, thank you for the super chat. Hi LK, my brother and I have been watching since 2008. Anyway, if you had any automobile shaped like a duel monster like Kaiba does, what would it be? I want an elemental hero Neos shaped balloon, like a hot air balloon, but it's Neos's butt. I just want to be flying around in elemental hero Neos's butt. Alex8642, thank you for the super chat. You motivated me to buy the first 6 volumes of the manga. Oh no, yeah. And so far it's been more adult than expected. I'm enjoying it thoroughly, thank you. Yes. The manga is a bit intense. I feel like Japanese children's media, or media for young adults, does tend to run more violent and disturbing than we might be used to in the West. The fact that I'm watching Kamen Rider sometimes and a character will pull out a gun and just start shooting, yeah, it's pretty wild. Shy Eye, thank you for the super chat. Off-screen, Yami Bakura was pointing a sniper at Grandpa's back in the airport. His screen time will no longer be denied. That was a bullet that got him. You should get an ergonomic mouse pad with Neos's butt. Ooh, enigmatic Gruffalo, you're talking my language. I want to have my hands on Neos's butt the whole time. Sorry, Neos, but I'm objectifying you. You are a trading card. Color Theory, thank you for the super chat. Honestly, the Kaiba Corp Grand Prix should have been Joey's arc. Yeah. I'd love if the quarterfinals had Joey versus Duke and Joey would win, then Duke would end up in a wolf costume. Then it'd be Joey versus Rebecca, then versus Leon. That's a way cooler idea than what they did. Imagine actually getting to have those side characters do things, right? Anthelom TCG, thank you for the super chat. May I suggest you do a Barbie movie reference by talking to your Yami in a green screen setting while you sit in a chair and get real meta about it? Did that happen in the Barbie movie? I don't remember. Monster King 97, thank you. Zork and Pals will make its grand reunion soon. Yes, the Zork and the Pals are going to be showing up. I like that it was always Zork and Pals, but Pals was just Bakura. I am Pals. I am from the PAL region. My Super Nintendo is the PAL. You know what I'm talking about. My brain is dead, I'm sorry. Rendrick Beaumier, thank you for the super chat. Team 4-star cameos for last season? Probably unlikely. Not because I don't want them in it, it's just that I honestly find that recording most of the lines myself make it quicker, make it easier to edit, and it means I can re-record things very easily. So bringing in other people, even though I do have guest actors, pop up here and there, I just don't think that it would be conducive to... See, it makes it sound like I don't want to work with them, but I would love to have Team 4-star be involved. I just... I want to acknowledge that I've talked about this in previous streams. I'm not a very good director, and I feel like Team 4-star would probably want to be cast in something where they're going to be used well, and I just don't... I feel like I'd be doing it arbitrarily. I just wouldn't be doing them justice. So I'm going to err on the side of no, unless there's a really, really good way to use them. I don't know what it would be. But I love those guys. Ant Demo, thank you for the super chat. Theory, Kaiba made those stairs for Yugi because of his traumatic experience in the virtual world. That explains that part of it, but why did Leon have to climb up all those stairs too? TG QWERTY, for your information, I've never seen the final season of Yu-Gi-Oh! I made a resolution years ago to watch your version of it first. I've waited my whole life for this. Bloody hell. I don't understand why you're waiting for my version first, but I will do my best to get there. Before you cease to exist, ideally. Joey, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for all the fun in the last 20 years. Well, thank you so much for the support, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you for watching the videos. Ninja, thank you for the super chat. Grandma Jack Atlas needs to come back. For those of you who don't know, I streamed a video game called Gabriel Knight Sins of the Fathers, one of my favorite video games of all time. And I used Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged voices for all the characters, and his grandmother ended up being Jack Atlas for one reason or another, and it was very funny. Wumbo, thank you for the super chat. Amazing episode. I pretty much grew up with this series. I'm 24 now, and legit may shed tears when it ends. Thank you for all the laughs and the vocal stims. I imagine I'll be crying a little bit when it's over, but I'll also be happy, There's going to be an element of satisfaction to it when it's over, just because it is a long time coming. Coach John Pliskin, thank you for the super chat. It's wild to see we are 25 episodes away from the end. Seen you since the beginning. I will quote, "Oh, you an ass whooping and I'm fixing to handle my debts." How did you get connected with Devil Artemis? I think Devil Artemis just reached out and said, would you like to do a voice? But Devil Artemis, incredibly talented fellow. Incredible talent. Brilliant animation. Very honored to have been animated by him, you know, more than once. For Hiffle and I think at least one other side thing. But yeah, no, very grateful to have seen my voice coming out of anything that he's worked on. Hassan Kolak, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, LK, thanks for 20 years of super special awesome memories and entertainment. Could you please shout out the German YouTuber slash streamer Imp. And could you please say, okay, Imp ist der Beste. Or I'll do it in Yami Yugi voice. Imp is der Beste. Or Seto Kaiba's voice. Imp is der Beste. And then for good measure, for some Siegfried. Imp is der Beste. I don't know if that came through. It might have blown out the microphone, but... Danny, thank you for the super chat. You're as amazing as always. Gosh, you're very kind. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Andrew Brown, thank you for the super chat. All that remains for Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged is one arc and a movie. Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. It just puts everything in perspective, you know? I've just seen in the chat, Super Anime King 100 said, will you be on the next Hiffle episode? Yes. But unfortunately, I need to re-record my dialogue because apparently I had the volume gate closed or something. I had an issue with my audio that, because I'm an idiot, I didn't know it was happening. So I have to re-record dialogue for Team 4-Star, for Hiffle, and I have a few other people I need to re-record for. I don't know if Grimjack is still in the chat, but that is definitely on my docket. And I'm so sorry that that's happened and I've kept you waiting for those. Alexandra Bailey, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. I had 2 surgeries in a month and the GX videos were nice to watch on loop. Well, I hope to add a few more to the loop real soon, and I hope that you're doing okay recovering from surgeries. It's no joke. Thank you so much. Delilah. My, Delilah. Thank you for the super chat. Been loving the rewatch streams. I hope you make it to episode 50 through 59, as many of the Kaiba-focused episodes are still some of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, and I quote them regularly. Delilah, can I level with you? It's been so long since I've watched that area of the show. I don't go back and watch it much, so I'm really excited to watch those and see how I feel about them, because the classic episodes, like episodes 1 through 20 or so, I rewatched those so many times that they're kind of ingrained in the back of my mind. But everything from episode 35 onwards is gonna be very new to me. I agree, Moo8336. I think that would be fun. Croissant Lover, thank you for the super chat. Can you write an autobiography so aspiring writers can get inspiration from your life story? Also, is there any merch of your cute purple Kuribo self? Sadly, no merch. It's certainly something that has been suggested. But the Kuribo vibe, the Kuribo and the jacket, they're very specific to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think there's some concerns about that. But thank you for the suggestion. I don't think my life would be that inspiring. It's been kind of... I know that I probably look like I live a very exciting, fun life, but I'm very introverted. I'm very kind of... I keep to myself a lot. I don't know how much I don't know how much people would get out of reading about a guy who just sort of sits there for most of the time. But no, it would be fun, I guess. It could be fun to write about. It would probably be a bit depressing. There's been, you know, some pretty awful things that have happened, but I'm sure somebody would get something out of it, maybe. Telling Star, thank you for the super chat. Will Zork's mother return? I forgot about Zork's mother. Probably not. Oh, standardized card games. That's a good idea, yeah. That's a good point. Bengal Tiger NYC, thank you for the super chat. Will you be on the next Hiffle episode? I did answer this one. Yes, but I need to re-record my dialogue. And Adam Lombardo, thank you for the super chat. Bakura can be pals, since there's like 3 of him. Yes, he is a plural... Bakura is a plural noun. And I think there's been 1 or 2 more in the chat. There's just been the 1 more. That Marcus Territory. This is the last super chat I'm going to read. Thank you so much to everybody who gave, and thank you specifically to That Marcus Territory. Happy 20 years. Grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged. You're the reason I became a creator myself. Joke on the series you're most proud of. Well, I'm really glad to hear that I inspired you a little bit to become a creator, and I'm excited to see what you bring to the table on your channel. Joke of the series that I'm most proud of. Gosh. I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to make a joke out of the new episodes every week. I think that demonstrates that I can be self-deprecating, and that I recognize the stupidity of young me and what I thought I could accomplish, which was absurd. I would have driven myself crazy if I tried to release episodes every week. It just wouldn't be possible. Certainly not with maintaining the quality of them. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm proud that everybody likes it. And I'm proud of it's not a joke, but I'm proud of the final episode of season 4, because I think it really does kind of bring Yami's character. Is it the final episode? It might be the penultimate episode. But it does kind of put things into perspective for Yami, where it's like, well, then you're this giant douchebag to everybody. You know, maybe you should just stop trying to be that so much. Maybe that's not doing you any favors. Maybe you could pull back on that. Maybe being an asshole isn't the same as having a personality, which is something I had to learn personally. You know, there was a time back in the day where I thought, yeah, being an asshole's funny, right? That's what everybody laughs at in shows and stuff. It doesn't work in real life. So I needed Yami Yugi to sort of learn that. And similarly, in the coming episodes, I do want Yugi to go through a similar character arc where he doesn't take his friends for granted as much. Obviously, a lot of the appeal of Abridged Yugi is the fact that he is an asshole and Yugi himself is not. But I want him to have a bit of development. I have some ideas there. Really quickly, Super Anime King, thank you for the super chat. Sucks we can't get more Season 0 Abridged, but I guess good Raws are hard to find. No, it's not about the Raws being hard to find. It's about me just not having time and being more inclined to focus on Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, the main show. But you can absolutely get more Season 0 Abridged. There's no reason that you can't. Sida, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm really grateful for your job. You an internet goat. Oh, I just read that as you an internet and then a goat. But I see you're saying I'm an internet goat. I'm okay with that. I'd rather be an internet goat than a screaming goat. I'm not much for screaming. I'm not Lanny Pator with his screaming. Guys, we're coming up on 3 hours and my voice is pretty shot. It's pretty shot. Mr. Cool, thank you for the super chat. You've probably been asked this before, but is Dark Side of Dimensions planned? I'm guessing for the finale. That is the plan, yes. The goal is to get to Dark Side of Dimensions and have that be the finale. Absolutely. I'm going to have to call it there, though, folks. Sorry if I don't read any more of your super chats if you post them. I'm going to have to wrap up the stream and rest up a bit. I'm feeling rough. I've been working real hard on this video. I'm really frustrated that it still has issues. It still has that big line through the middle of the video there. There's a few glitches that I didn't clock. But yeah, I'm happy with it, though. I'm very happy with it. And I hope that you guys enjoyed not just watching the episode, but also watching the episode together. That was a fun time. And I hope that I explained everything as thoroughly as I could. I hope that you have no further questions about that episode. I'm still getting over Duke's face looking like that in the in-between animation. Okay, but I'm going to call it there for today, for this Wednesday. I'm going to try and come back on Friday and continue the 20th anniversary streams, watching further into the Season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. And eventually we'll get back to this point and rewatch episode 89, and maybe by then episode 90 will be out. Let's see. But we're going to call it there. Thanks for hanging out with me today. My voice is dying. I'll be back when my voice feels better. Take care. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Bye. Very good.